I'd like to call the meeting to order, the regular board meeting for June 25th, 2026. Okay, so we're going to start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody can join us.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we had a recommendation to add celebrations in right after the approval of the agenda. So if I could get a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Mena, supported by Mrs. Kleebert. Can I get a vote on that then? Do I go around?
Call for a vote.
Okay, cool. So we'll call for a vote. Mr. Mena?
Aye.
Oh, just do the,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so go ahead.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All opposed?
Opposed? Okay, so passes, what do we have, 6-0?
6-0.
Okay, very good. And then we will do
Move
the
the
approval of,
celebrations.
oh, do you want to do the approval of the agenda?
Yep.
First, so we're good on that, and then we will do the celebrations. Okay, go right ahead. Mr. Manka?
All right, so just like to celebrate a few things. I know we have some board awards I think Trustee Kleebert's going to talk about in just a moment, but we have a person who's not going to show up on the personnel report. He's not in a representative group, but we have a hall monitor that's been a hall monitor at our high school for a very long time, over 20 years. His name is Greg Bango. Everybody knows Greg. The students know Greg. They all have T-shirts with Greg's picture on it. When I got an opportunity to first meet Greg, he came right up to me, introduced himself, and he's a person that really built relationships with the students at the high school. He cared about them, he knew about them, and he certainly is a humble guy. He didn't necessarily want us to say anything, but here we go. And we're going to do that anyway. And so I know that Dr. Carino has some things that she's put together, but we just really appreciate all of his service to the students at Novi High School and just the many years that he's put into keeping our hallways safe at Novi High School. So Dr. Carino, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Meinke. We are very excited to recognize Greg Bango this evening. He has been with the district for 2 decades, and we are so appreciative of all of his efforts. I have asked Nicole Carter, his building principal, to share a few words, and this is what she said. Greg Bango has been a shining light in the parking lot and hallways of Novi High School, providing a steady presence for the last 20 years. He epitomizes high-quality customer service with a smile. He has left an indelible mark on Novi High School and has become one of the most trusted and respected members of our school community. While his title may have been hall monitor, his impact extended far beyond monitoring hallways. He served as the eyes and ears of our school, helping us to ensure a safe school community while building meaningful relationships with students and staff that strengthened our culture and sense of belonging. Greg, as he was affectionately called, demonstrated care with every interaction. His greatest gift has always been his ability to connect with people. He made students feel seen, valued, heard, and loved, often during moments when they needed it most. For some students, he was the reason they chose to come to school each day because they knew they would be greeted with kindness, encouragement, and genuine interest in their well-being. He will be sorely missed by all. We thank you, Greg. We have a small gift of appreciation with a retirement plaque that we will make sure that we get to him after tonight's meeting, and we just wanted to wish him well in his future endeavors. So thank you, Greg.
I think we also had some pretty special awards for some of our board members.
We did. So Marianne and I recently attended the Oakland County School Board Association Annual Awards Banquet. And our board and members of the board each received a couple awards. Betsy Bodewine received her Level 1 Certified Board Member Award. I also received my Level 1 Certified Board Member Award. Marianne received the Level 3 Award of Distinction, Advocacy Skills Specialty, and the Finance Certification Specialty. And President Ruskin received her Level 1 Certified Board Member, Level 2 Award of Merit. Our board as a whole was also awarded an Honor Board Award. There was only one other district there. The Honor Board Award is given to boards when all members achieve certification status, which was a really big deal for all of us to achieve that same level. They presented us with a very nice plaque that we accepted on everyone's behalf, and that was very cool to be recognized. But the big award of the night went to Trustee Mena. They recognize length of service honorees, and Mr. Mena was among 2 people that received the Apple Award for his 12 years of service to our board. So we have a very fancy apple with the stand, but we brought that.
Thank you.
Well, it's an honor. It's actually been an honor to represent this community for the past 12 years, and I've said this quite a few times already. This is the best board that I've worked with in the 12 years. Great administration. Everybody gets along well. That's never happened until recently. It's just an honor. This is great. I really, really enjoy. I've never enjoyed my time on the board more than I do now, so thank you. And thank you, the Oakland County School Board Association. I do cherish this, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mena. Next up, we have personnel reports. Mr. Ranka, do you want to kick off personnel report A for us, please?
Yes, I will, certainly. Personnel report A is going to be our typical personnel report for our represented staff. I'll turn it over to Dr. Carino.
Thank you. Good evening. We are excited to recommend several highly qualified individuals for consideration for open positions within the district this evening. These candidates were selected from a strong and competitive applicant pool, and we are confident that they will make valuable contributions to the district. We recommend Abby Curtis for a 5th grade teaching position at Novi Meadows. Abby is a recent graduate of Michigan State University and completed her teaching internship at Wilcox Elementary in Holt. We also recommend Ashley Gladen for a 5th grade teaching position at Novi Meadows. Ashley has served as both a guest teacher in the district since 2019 and new name. She recently completed her student teaching at Novi Meadows and is also a Novi resident. We recommend Matthew Hartson for the Orchard Hills music teacher position. Matthew recently relocated from Arizona and has served as an elementary music teacher since 2022. We recommend Maggie LeBou for a school psychologist position serving both the ECEC and Novi Woods. Maggie previously worked as a school psychologist in Pinckney. We also recommend Marianne McCool for a 1st grade teaching position at Parkview. Marianne is a graduate of the University of Michigan, go Blue, and most recently served as a bilingual elementary teacher in 2nd and 3rd grade in Dearborn. We also recommend Devier Pipkins for the middle school counselor position. Devier previously served as a long-term guest counselor at both Novi Meadows and Novi High School and completed his counseling internship with Novi in 2024 and 2025. Taylor Skeese is being recommended for a 4th grade teaching position at Novi Woods. Taylor brings previous elementary teaching experience from Battle Creek and is a graduate of Central Michigan University. We also recommend Elizabeth Trosen for a kindergarten teaching position at Parkview. Elizabeth is a Michigan State University graduate and completed her field placements in kindergarten and 1st grade classrooms in East Lansing. We also recommend Gracie Tuck for a high school English language arts teaching position. Gracie completed her student teaching in Northville and is a graduate of Michigan State University. For the guest teacher specialist, TMD assistant position, we recommend Deborah Beaker. Deborah has served as a guest teacher throughout the district since 2021 and has been an active member of our PTO community. We also recommend Heather Sinanis for the benefits and payroll specialist position. Heather transitions to the ESB after serving as the administrative assistant to the principal at Deerfield. Prior to joining NCSD, she worked as a tax staff accountant with General Motors and holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from Michigan State University. We are also pleased to recommend 3 individuals for bus driver positions. James Burke brings more than 15 years of experience as a dependable bus driver, most recently serving in Dearborn. Christopher Corbett joins us with experience as a lead service advisor and owner of a home healthcare organization. Finally, Matthew Underhill brings previous bus driving experience with both Dean Transportation and Trinity Transportation. As is typical at the conclusion of a school year, we also have several resignations to acknowledge this evening. We thank Lauren Levy, high school counselor, Nicole Tefilski, Novi for All special education teacher, Johannes Luluin, Deerfield special education paraprofessional, Kathleen Ozinski, high school secretary, Sanu Reina, NATC paraprofessional, Lakisa Williams, Village Oaks administrative assistant, and Mark Loudon, bus driver, for their service and wish them the very best in their future endeavors. We also have 2 official retirements to recognize this evening. Kathleen Narducci, middle school math teacher, and Kimberly Williams, middle school ELA and science teacher, have elected to retire. We thank each of them for their many years of dedicated service to our students, staff, and community, and wish them all the best in retirement. Because these retirements occurred after our last board meeting and retirement recognition, we wanted to take a moment this evening to recognize each of them with a few words from their building principals. Rob Baker, Novi Middle School principal, shared the following about Kathleen Narducci. We are so very excited to recognize Kathleen and to wish her an amazing retirement. Kathleen spent many years teaching math at Novi High School and more recently helped 7th and 8th grade students engage with math at Novi Middle School. Over the course of her career, she has touched the lives of countless students, many of whom discovered, thanks to her, that they could succeed in math after all. Kathleen is known for having unending patience in support of struggling learners and for caring deeply about all of her students. She is adept at explaining concepts in a variety of ways until every student understands, never giving up on a child no matter how long it takes. Outside of the classroom, Kathleen coached our students and offered academic support to those in need, always willing to give a little extra for the kids who needed it most. Kathleen's warmth, patience, and dedication have left a lasting mark on Novi School District that will be felt for years to come. We will dearly miss Ms. Narducci. She is an extraordinary teacher, mentor, friend, and colleague. We thank her for everything she has given to our students and our community, and we wish her all the joy, rest, and adventure that retirement has to offer. Rob Baker also shared information about Kimberly Williams. Novi Middle School will certainly not be the same without Kimberly. As both a science and ELA educator, she knew firsthand what our middle school students need most: a champion, a listening ear, and a huge heart. Kimberly always puts her students first, responding to their needs and weaving joy and relevance into the heart of every lesson. Kimberly's leadership with Student Council helped shape our building culture and motivated student leaders to take risks, show empathy, and serve as role models for the entire student body. We wish Kimberly all the best in her future endeavors, and we hope she knows her Novi Middle School family is cheering her on. Finally, we have 2 requests for childcare leaves of absence for your consideration this evening. Danielle Leonard, high school English language arts teacher, and Olivia Stoltz, middle school social studies teacher. This concludes this evening's personnel report. Thank you.
Could we get a motion, please? Mr. Mishner?
Yes, I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approves Personnel Report A recommendations as presented.
Support.
Okay, moved by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mrs. Kleebert. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Some comments.
President, if I could, just a quick comment.
Yes, so we'll do board comments and then introductions. Does that work?
Just wanted to say that, I would 100% endorse what Mr. Baker said about Ms. Narducci and being able to firsthand see what she was able to do with the students in her class, both in the classroom and outside the classroom at the 4-hour-long track practices they had, or whether it be quickly going to the gym to shoot some hoops in a couple of minutes after school before the buses arrived. She was always there for her students and definitely made a huge difference. And personally in my son's life as well. He really enjoys math now, not in a small part due to her efforts. So it was a privilege to have her as a teacher for my child, and I know our district will miss her, and we wish her all the best.
Any other board comments? And then would you like to do some introductions?
Yes, I would. Thank you. We have many of our new hires with us this evening, so I would like to introduce, in no particular order, Abby Curtis.
And as you come up, if you could introduce who you brought with you, your support staff would be greatly appreciated too.
Absolutely. I have a big group over here. I have my boyfriend, my brother, my mom and dad, my grandma, and my aunt. My name's Abby. I recently graduated from Michigan State. I'm so excited to be teaching 5th grade in the fall. After graduation, I took a long-term sub position at Meadows and absolutely fell in love with the people, the students, the school community. I feel very lucky to be able to start my teaching journey in such an awesome district and with such amazing people by my side. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Go Wildcats.
Ashley.
Hello. I'm so excited to finally be up here. Who I have with me today, so my husband, my 2 boys, who are actually Novi students as well. One of them will be a sophomore in the fall. The other one will be a 7th grader, so unfortunately they're not going to be at my building anymore, but that's okay. And then I also have my brother here with me as well. He is, well, we get to do lots of family things because he is leaving Michigan. He graduated last year and is headed to med school at Wayne State. So we get to move him tomorrow. So he's coming to support me, and then we're going to support him. I am obviously taking a role change. I have been with the Novi Community School District for 8 years now and a member of the community as well. I'm so excited to continue this journey at Novi Meadows, and I just honestly want to say thank you to the administrators, the educators, everybody who has been part of this journey for me and encouraged me to kind of expand and really take on this role to be a full-time teacher with my own classroom here, especially the students. They have been incredibly supportive through this whole thing, which I know sounds interesting and different, but they are some of our biggest cheerleaders as teachers, and I'm so excited to be able to kind of continue with them, help them learn and grow in my new role. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maggie.
Hello, I'm Maggie LeBeau. I brought my partner Julia with me. I moved here from Illinois like 8 months ago and took a position in Pinckney. I loved my previous school district in Illinois, and I was still looking for that family feel. And I feel like throughout the interviews and hearing all of the wonderful things about Novi, I think I found it. So thanks so much for bringing me aboard. Excited to start the year.
Marianne.
Hi, I'm Marianne McCool. Today I have with me my family, my parents, my sister, and my fiance, as well as my new principal, Jennifer Murphy. Thank you so much for coming. I will be a 1st grade teacher at Parkview. I'm super excited to be here. I just finished my 1st year teaching at Dearborn Public Schools. I graduated from University of Michigan, go Blue, and I also did my undergrad at Michigan State University, so go Green as well. I spent a lot of time in Novi growing up, whether it was shopping at 12 Oaks Mall with my mom or going on dates in Novi Fountain Walk with my fiance, but I'm really excited to serve the community in Novi and its families and students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Devier.
Hi, I'm Devier Pipkins. I'll be moving into the middle school counseling role. Who I have with me, my wife and my 4 children are here, but I think they're taking a grand tour of the educational buildings. They're bragging about how nice Novi Meadows and all the facilities were, so I think that's probably but my wife's actually right there, my son Noah, my son Isaiah, my oldest son. It's been a pleasure to be a part of the community so far. I'm glad to be able to fulfill this role. I did my graduate at Eastern Michigan University and grad school at Capella University. Before that, I was in the United States Air Force. Had the pleasure to do that and transition from military police into counseling because I want to help people take a more proactive role, preventative approach to helping people. And I'm excited to be able to do that here at the community of Novi. So someone else mentioned that about the students. I'm really excited to work with the students, and I feel like it's great to build relationships with the staff and the community as well. So real thankful for this opportunity. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Taylor.
Hi, my my name is Taylor Shees. I brought with me my husband Jake and my mom Christy. They're both educators as well, so I come from a big family of educators. I'm really excited to be the new 4th grade teacher at Novi Woods. I come from Battle Creek, Michigan. I have 5 years of teaching experience over there. I've taught 1st grade, kindergarten, and 2nd grade, so I've taught lots of grade levels last couple of years. I'm also from Chelsea, Michigan, so not too far from here. I grew up coming to Novi and just think the area is wonderful and have heard a lot of great things about the community and the school district itself. I'm super excited to build relationships with the staff at my school, building those relationships with my students and families, and I just thank you all for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Trozen. I brought my mom with me. She's also a teacher, so that's kind of where my love for teaching started. It's been a lifelong dream of mine. I recently graduated from Michigan State University this spring, and I did my student teaching in East Lansing Public Schools in a kindergarten classroom. So I'm really excited to do a kindergarten teaching job next school year and hopefully for the future. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Gracie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gracie Tuck. I just graduated from Michigan State in this spring. And I'm new to the field, but I came from a family of educators. I'm here with my mom, who has been a teacher at Churchill High School for 34 years. And so I come from a family of educators, and while I'm new to the field, I'm already so passionate for it, and I just have such a love for the students. And I actually got some subbing experience this spring with Novi, and at our end of the year staff meeting, Nicole Carter talked about how important the school culture was for them, and I can already see that, and I can't wait to be a part of it. So thank you for this opportunity. I can't wait to start my teaching journey at such a great district.
Thank you.
Deborah.
Hello, thank you so much for having me tonight, and thank you to the Talent Management and Development group for bringing me on to their team. I'm very excited to join as a guest teacher specialist. I started out with Novi Woods, basically just being on the PTO, loved the executive board, spent many years with that, as well as moving up to the Meadows and then to the middle school executive boards. Novi Woods was lovely to bring me on as a new aide, which was great to get back into kind of working, but also being able to be home with my kids. And then that transitioned to me being able to be a guest teacher over there as well, and being a guest teacher around the district, both at Meadows and then secretary help, both at ESB and Parkview. So I'm really fortunate to be able to take this experience from that and then apply it kind of in a different way as a guest teacher specialist, more in the admin role to support those people that we're bringing into our district. So I look forward to supporting that.
Thank you.
Somebody was pouting over there. Somebody was pouting over there because you didn't introduce her.
I don't like speaking in front of people, so I get really nervous. And I was like, okay, try and get everything done. Okay, I brought with me my husband, Jesse. My daughter, Evie, is going to go into the 8th grade this fall, and my son, Hudson, is going into the 5th grade this fall.
All right.
James. Christopher.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Corbett. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Michelle. We have 3 children who have all gone through Novi High. My son graduated just this spring, which was fantastic. As I told Mr. Minka, the amazing speech he gave, I thought was fantastic. So I just got to say, quite frankly, it's really exciting to see the young people here that are just starting their career with Novi High. I'm a little bit different. So I had my 25 years of experience in healthcare, owned 2 businesses, semi-retired, and I'm going to be a bus driver for the greatest school district that I've ever known. I've lived in Novi for 28 years. Danielle is my dentist, my kid's dentist. I mean, seriously, I'm kind of bummed she's not here right now. But what really is, and I've told my wife this before, is that this means a lot to me because I'm going to get more out of this job than being a business owner and the stress and all the stuff that came with that, right? I'm going to be able to help kids, to be a mentor to kids, to teach them what's right and wrong, to teach them values and morals and the things that's really important. Hopefully, I'm going to be a bus driver that they're going to want to see every day. So I'm really excited about it. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Matthew?
No. That's Thank you. Okay, great. Next up, we have Personnel Report B. Mr. Menka?
Thank you. This is our annual administrative contract. So this is the administrative team from the Novi Administrative Association, as well as our 3 assistant superintendent contracts that are there. This is an annual process. Remember, those are 2-year agreements that get done this board meeting every June. I'll turn it over to Dr. Carino to list the names of the individuals that'll be on the report.
Thank you. This evening, we bring forward the following contracts for your review and approval. Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations, Becca Cicluna. Assistant Superintendent of Talent Management and Development, Dr. Laura Carino. Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, Mike Jeremini. Director of Elementary Education, Laura Bidlack. Director of Elementary Special Education, Amanda Squires. Director of Employee Relations, Katie Booth. Director of English Language Development and State and Federal Programs, Dr. Spencer Riley. Director of Finance, Steve LeBlanc. Director of Maintenance and Operations, Mike Tragoo. Director of Mental Health and Wellness, Rosalie Johnson. Director of Secondary Education, Dr. Marcy Augenstein. Director of Secondary Special Education, Dennis McBride. Supervisor of Adult and Alternative Education, Sarah Kramer. Supervisor of Communications and Community Engagement, George Sipple. Supervisor of Medical Services, Kathy Ferris. Supervisor of Safety and Security, Dennis Heisman. Supervisor of Special Education, Brenna McGinn. Supervisor of Transportation, Carrie Russell. Coordinator of Early Childhood Education, Kristen Meyer. Coordinator of Maintenance, Eric Heddle. Dean of Activities, Daniel Tobis. High School Principal, Nicole Carter. High School Assistant Principals, Michelle Ethorn, Ron Kane, Sarah Lephart, and Brian Langley. High School Athletic Director, Don Wachowski. Middle School Principal, Robert Baker. Middle School Assistant Principal, David Sinopoli-Smith. Middle School Dean, Lindsay Radke. Meadows Principal, Katie Dinkelman. Meadows Assistant Principal, Emily Reitz. Our kindergarten through 4th grade elementary principals, Joy Danforth, Ryan Francis, Alice Kazee, and Jennifer Murphy. And our K-4 elementary deans, Megan Hoppola, Ashley Kurtz, Scott Skidema, Phelan Smith, and Katie Whitty.
Thank you. And could we get a motion to move this forward? Mrs. Kleber?
Recommend that the Novi Community School District Board of Education adopt Personnel Report B recommendations as presented.
Support.
Okay. Moved by Ms. Kleber, supported by Mr. Mena, and then we'll open up for discussion. Any comments from the board? Okay. So seeing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So passes 6-0. Next up, we have reports to the board. We'll start out with the Chartwell Food Service report. Mr. Menka?
Thank you. Yeah, as we're getting ready for this report, it's exciting to hear a little bit about some of the things going on in food service. I want to let everybody know that that is here visiting. We're so excited to welcome all the new Wildcats, but we also want to make sure we extend a welcome to the rest of this board meeting, or give you an opportunity to step out if you'd like to step out. So you don't have to sit through all the reports, but they're going to be riveting and they are exciting. But we do not want to make you feel obligated. So now would be a good time to step out if you'd like. Otherwise, we'll get started with our report. So with that, I'm going to ask Ms. Sinclair, Kim Sinclair, to come to the podium. We have members of her team that are going to come talk about some of the initiatives that have gone this year with food service. And we're excited to hear a little bit from Chartwell's this evening.
I'm so grateful they all left. Okay. I have to take my password again. Oh. I did that last night too. Okay. Hi, everybody.
I'm Kim Sinclair. I'm the food service director here in Novi. I have some incredibly talented people that came to join me today. A lot of my team is on vacation. They're traveling the world, but I am very grateful for those that came. We have Chef Mia, we have Chef Danielle, and we have, I call her Chef Kathy, but Kathy, she's been with the district for over 20 years, and she is my right hand. She gives me so much knowledge and support, mentally and psychologically, so I can say that. We're going to talk a little bit about our Chartwell's team. As you can see, we have a really talented group of people that come and support this community. It is Ann Smith, who is our area director. She is my immediate supervisor. For those of you that have known Ann, she has been here a long time. She is going into her next journey, so she will be retiring this year. I'm sad to see her go, but excited for the next term for her. We are excited to see who they'll bring on. So that person will be coming soon. We have Chef Thomas, Chef Mia, and Audie, who again, she is my right hand and helps me with everything. In the background, you'll see a picture of our State of the District. These are a lot of people who dedicate their time to support and feed the whole community. We feed over 900 people. A lot of these people start at 6 a.m. in the morning, and they stay all night to feed and show the community what we do in school food service every day. So it's pretty cool. We're honored to say that we have 13 years of partnership with this district. I have only had the honor to be here 5, going on 6. We served this year over 210,000 meals for breakfast and over 743 lunches. Our district is very, very lucky. We have over 68% participation for lunch. That is really big numbers. A lot of districts reach out and ask, how come our numbers are so high? I really think that it's due to our incredibly gifted team who listen to the students who want to find out what they want on the menu and how can we do it better. So we're grateful for that. We have over 70 associates. Out of those 70 associates, 58 of them are district. They live in our district. So that's a pretty cool thing too. So a lot of these are moms or dads or people that just want to give back to the community also. And I thank you for that because it makes them feel that they're part of the district. So you all make that happen. This year we have catered well over 130 events. I stopped counting. We did $350K in revenue. It's a really good number. And that is all, we do a lot with the Novi Public Library. They really connect us with a lot of catering events outside of what we do in our district, and that helps us. Last year, because we partner with Chartwell's and their food buy team, we received over $330,000 in rebates, which lowers our food cost, which help us to be able to get you those numbers so that we can continue to build our revenue. Some of our accomplishments, we do a really good job here with our team being all ServSafe certified. And then we are looking to increase our numbers of ServSafe certification with more of our teammates. So those are some of the goals that I have, I kind of have in my head. And our team is excited to do it. So I have reached out to a few of our top performers in our schools and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And of course they said yes. So education is really key. Our district is Fair Check certified. So every employee has to go through this allergy training, and each employee, before they even walk into a cafeteria, get to go through this training. So we don't let them start in a building until they have that certification. Our district also won it was a pretty exciting thing. I was really excited. Becca and I were gonna go to Las Vegas because of the Healthy Meals Incentive Award. It was so exciting. And then the funding got lost. So we didn't get to go to Vegas, but we still won the award, and we were one of 8 districts to win that award. So it's pretty cool. You all let us participate in the Novi Chopped. It's one of my favorite events. I thank you, board members, for being so generous to come in and taste the food. You never know what you're gonna get, but it's always over the top, and these kids really do a great job. It was our second one, and we're excited to do it again next year. With that being said, Chartwell's has a lot of great things that they offer and that they promote. We get to do discovery kitchens. We hosted over 4 of those throughout campus. We did mood boosts where we talk about nutrition with the kids in the cafeteria, and we explain how food really does affect the brain, right? What we put in our bodies is really important, so we try to promote healthy eating. We try to get students to understand, in order for the government to pay for our meals, they have to take a fruit or a vegetable, right? Why is that? Why is it so important? We don't want them just to take it, to throw it away, or to put it on a table, but we try to explain it. And so we ask them, what will you eat? And these people here do a really good job of asking. So Chef Thomas and Mia set up these pop-up events all over, and I would, do you want to talk about one?
Sure.
Okay. So, and this is Chef Mia.
Hello, my name is Mia. I want to talk about the food waste program that we did at Meadows. Meadows is my home-based school, so it was really good and interesting for me as a new executive chef in this role, working for Chartwell's, and not being a Novi resident, but working in Novi for over 12 years throughout the food service industry, to really get in and see what these kids want. And it has inspired me to ask them more questions, like, hey, you're taking this apple, but why don't you want it? And they're like, we'd rather have this kind of smoothie. And I love that the students can tell us what they want, and I will take it back to Kim, and we'll work our hardest to make sure we put it on the menu and give them what they want to see and what they want to eat. And it helps engage them to be more in there with the food, and I think it brings more connection to us. And I'm just really happy to be a part of Novi and to make an impact on these students. Thank you.
Thank you. Mia's been great. She, we had it at the parent camp. At parent camp, we partnered with the wellness team, and we were at the parent camp. We set up a whole station. What would you like to see on the menu? Some students said they wanted falafel. So, of course, I go to Mia. I found a recipe. Could you make it? She made it the next day. I had the kids come down and taste it in the cafeteria at the high school. They said I could, because it's the worst thing, right? You make this product, and then they're not going to eat it. It's just not worth the time. So 2 kids came down. I said, would you guys eat this? They said they would. So it's on the menu at the high school. We serve it both in the Wild Green Station and the deli station. And it is, obviously, it's a clean product. It's really good. And the kids are eating it, and it's not getting thrown away. So that's a bonus. So, and that's thanks to her. Menu innovation. Again, Thomas and Mia are brand new to the district. We lost Susan due to her getting a promotion. Very sad. But with that being said, Mia has been an incredible addition to our team, and they are really diving into how can we make the menu better. So between her and Chef Thomas, they are really going into it. So these are some of the events. They made beet chips for one of our mood boosts. They also did a sauteed spinach. The aromatics in the Parkview cafeteria were off the chart. And it's fun because the kids come in, they get to see the action, they get to smell it, taste it, and then we get to put it on the menu. One of my favorite events that we did was the farmer's market. It was so much fun. I was so nervous between the farmer's market and Chopped, which I would enjoy more, and I think they were both mutually great. Mr. Baker so kindly allowed us to get all the students through the middle school to come through. They all got to buy vegetables, take them home to their family. Chef Thomas did elote on our Blackstones right there, so it was an active kitchen. Chef Mia was heating up donuts, warming cider, and it was just a great event. We also, with some of these events, they're so big that because of how big they are, I beg a bunch of other directors and a bunch of other chefs from around the area to come help us, and we get that. So we couldn't do it all by ourselves, but with a team of Chartwell's people, they really do help us make it happen. So there's a few pictures up there. The one top picture, a lot of our kitchen managers are very humble is a good word to use. And they don't like to, and a couple of them are here today, and I won't call them out because they'll get mad at me, but they get notes, and they write, "Dear Miss So-and-so, thank you so much for all you do for us. We are so grateful for you." And so they'll take a picture of it, but they'll white out their name. I'm like, that doesn't do me any good. But it's great. So up in the top corner is one of their Lunch Hero Days that we celebrate. Every May, we have a Lunch Hero Day, and every school supports our team. So that's a great thing, so thank you, Novi. With that being said, you asked for it, Betsy. That is the $80,000 dishwasher there in the bottom corner.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. It is installed, ready to go at Novi Middle School. I just have to get the detergent set up.
It looks beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I tell you what, the kitchen manager is so excited. She's so excited. With that being said, we had some really big steps this year. Early education, Chef Danielle, who's here, early education had big hurdles. We went from a GSRP program that had 18 students to 194. That's huge. I mean, that was a huge, huge, huge addition. With that being said, all those meals are served family style. So I would love to say that I'm smart enough to figure it all out, but I'm not. So I was at her school, and I was talking to her. We had a couple people come in to try to figure out how we were going to get enough storage, how we were going to get enough places to get the food in. And Danielle, who's incredibly brilliant, said, I think we're going to need a dishwasher. And I was like, oh, I don't know if we can do that. And I looked at the guy, and he's like, we can do that. I was like, okay. So then we reached out to the GSRP people. All of this was paid with GSRP grant funding, so it didn't come from food service or anything like that, which is incredibly great. But she had so many great ideas that made us elevate that program from two new ovens, because her ovens kept breaking down, and then she also got a dishwasher, new 3-compartment sink, and a new stove. So, and all of that was paid with funding from the GSRP program. So that was really great funding that was secured for that. Novi Middle School, as you see, we got a new dish machine. We upgraded the paint. We got a sono station. One of the favorite meals at that school is the homemade macaroni and cheese. If I put it on almost every day, I bet you we'd sell out every day. It's one of the best sellers there. Novi High School, we added 4 new ovens, a new steamer, a combi oven. We've made some adjustments to get the students through the program faster. Their favorite meal also is mac and cheese, homemade of course, and we added shawarma, off the charts. It is really cool. We are looking at, we added this just right before school ended, we added brisket. It was amazing, and the kids loved it. We sold out. It was kind of sad because we were going to put on the menu the next day a brisket pizza with fresh pickles, but we sold out, so we couldn't even make the pizza. But that was good. It was sold out, and that means it's going on next year. We're adding ribs also next year to the high school. I'm not sure about the middle school yet, but for sure there. At Meadows, we celebrate all the time. We celebrate the holiday Holly. We celebrate Cinco de Mayo. We celebrate Diwali and Granola Day. Chef Mia made a granola bar from scratch, and we served it there. Those kids went crazy. We also did a lot of overnight oats. We're trying to figure out ways to reduce sugar and to include higher protein levels. So we're doing a lot with Greek yogurts and stuff like that, a lot with cottage cheese. And so she's really back in the kitchen trying to figure out how we can make it happen, because in 27, 28, the regulations are going to change again. So we just want to be ahead of the game. With that going on, our elementary schools have all upgraded their coolers. We're continuing to improve on that. We are even going to be talking to you later today about a walk-in freezer maybe. Novi in the community. I'm honored to be a part of this district, and I am grateful for what we get to do, because not only do we help with Rotary Cares, we do Make-A-Wish, we get to work with the NEF, and Chartwell supports it with a scholarship. We get to work at the Novi Public Library not only to serve the community there. The Novi Public Library is one of the only public libraries that have a cafe. Most of them go to vending machines now. Because the district loves that partnership, that's why we're there. And it also, we use a lot of the students to learn at NATC some real-life skills, and they go through the program. And then this year, a new addition was the Career Prep High School. That was a great opportunity that we got to teach students how to cook. We made salsa, apple pies, and that was because Sarah Kramer reached out to me and said, would you be interested in? You want me to teach kids how to cook? I'm all on it. Let's do it. It was a great opportunity, and I was thankful for that. So Novi is a community worth belonging to. What we have coming up next is some pretty cool things. This past school year, we partnered with Ben, and we did Soup with the Superintendent. It was a really great opportunity, and I was thankful that he asked us to partner with him with that. We got to meet at, in buildings, we got to meet in schools, we got to meet in departments, and he made time to talk with everyone, and they could see us coming in. So they were like, oh, this is not just school food service. They do a good job catering. So that helps us to be out there more. This coming school year, again, we're gonna do another farmer's market. We're gonna do another Chopped. One of the promotions that we have coming up, they do limited time offers now. We are gonna be doing a dazed pizza. We are gonna be doing a, wrap and roll, and let's do brunch. And then we're gonna be doing Game On, Chef Sizzle, Stir Up. That'll hit our elementary schools. It's not gonna go to our upper schools. We have a lot of cool things that we do at the upper schools. This is just to get some more excitement at the lower schools. And with that being said, I thank you for your support and wonder if you have any questions.
Mr. Misher?
Just two comments. One, the farmer's market is still to this day the most enthusiasm I've ever seen my son generate around vegetables. And he brought them home, and he was insistent that we eat them and cook them and prepare them. And I'm just very grateful you guys came up with that program. I hope you will continue it. And the second comment is, I'll have to ask him what he thinks about the mac and cheese, because I know he loves his mac and cheese. So yeah, that's cool that you guys are offering it. Also, most mac and cheeses don't use cheese anymore, so it's nice to know that you guys are making mac and cheese with real cheese and not like cheese sauce or substitute or powder.
Real cheese.
So, thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Mrs. Kleibert?
I just want to thank you and your team again. I'm such a huge fan of you guys, and I love the enthusiasm you have for your job, and it transfers into like awesome food and kids being happy and healthy and fed and thriving. And I love all the extras you do. I always hear about what smoothie they were testing. I loved the Chopped. I loved the farmer's market. I was really good at selling corn that day. But like you have so much
I have
enthusiasm.
you hooked for next year.
I'm there. You have so much enthusiasm for what you do, and it transfers to your staff. And like you guys have blown away all the stereotypes of traditional food service. Like our kids don't realize how spoiled they are. And I think back, I went to this district to my styrofoam tray, and I could tell you what was in it. And it's so, you guys are heads and tails, like amazing. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Cook?
Kim, thank you very much for all you do. Chefs, thank you for all you do. Really appreciate it. Hope I still have an open invitation at Chopped, because I have yet to have anything bad served there. Everything's been excellent. I do have a couple of questions.
Sure.
We do have a lot of extracurricular clubs and stuff that hold banquets, and we'd like to try to keep those a little bit more in district. Is there a way that, what's the best way for, some of the parents that are trying to organize those to reach you to say, hey, let's use our food service to cater the banquets? It would be, trying to keep things in-house, so.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We actually did the tennis banquet, the varsity tennis banquet at the high school this year. One of our kitchen managers, who actually, she's in Russia right now, her daughter plays on the tennis team. And so she asked us to do it. And Chef Mia and Chef Thomas, we did cater it. So I always recommend us. Sometimes those banquets get done for free. We obviously can't compete with free, but we do a really good job, and we have really good pricing. So all they need to do is reach out to me, and I can let them know if we're available.
Okay, and my last question is, what else can we do for you so that you can continue to do your job at the level you've been doing it or better?
I appreciate that. I can tell you, the support I get from Ben and Becca has far outweighed any place I've ever been. So I am very grateful because I can ask for things, and they'll ask me questions. Obviously, they don't just give me, oh yeah, sure, go ahead. They'll ask, does it make sense, and all of that. They have taken very good care of my people, and that's what I need. I need my people to be taken care of, and my people are being taken care of. We have brought them up to where I believe that they should be paid, and for as hard as they work, for what they do. These people are allergy managers. These people are crying kids, how can I help you? They don't want to take a vegetable. I know you don't want to take a vegetable, honey. Let me take you over here, and we'll just put the vegetable over here, but you have to have it on the tray before you walk through there. They do it all, from let me help you, don't cry, how can I help you? A good way to support is to always make sure everyone understands. I know our district is affluent, and I know that free meals sometimes is, obviously it's not free, it's subsidized, our tax dollars pay for it. It is saving a lot of our people, families, money, not having to buy groceries. Knowing that really does help our kids. There's not that stigma in the cafeteria. They're not embarrassed to get lunch. Everybody's the same. Everybody gets a free meal. So that's just my one thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I just would like to thank you and your team with the Rotary Cares. Rotary is near and dear. It's my heart. I go and deliver, and these people come up and they get their, lunch and breakfast, whatever. And these are kids that probably would not have a great meal. So I appreciate you and your team. I know Kathy came up with some wonderful ideas for the menu.
No, I'm telling you, it was Kathy. I sat down with her. I was like, Kathy, this is what I'm thinking. What do you got? She's like, I think we should do pasta salad. I'm like, oh my God, you're brilliant.
It was so good.
And it is, because we have a very diverse clientele, right? We have a lot of vegetarians, and we can make that vegetarian. And it is filling, and it's substantial, and it tastes good, and it's fresh, and yeah. So, and she manages the operation all by herself. I just go there because I say, can I play today? And she's like, no, I don't need you, go away. But, yeah.
Well, thank you. It's a wonderful program.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for us to be able to do that.
Mr. Menna, are you good? Okay, great. I didn't want to jump the line if you had stuff to say as well. Kim, I just wanted to thank you for being here and doing this presentation. And I'm so excited that you brought a few of your people. I'm disappointed there are not more of them. I don't know if you all watch these meetings. I assume you probably do not. But every time we tell Kim what a great job she's doing, she says, oh, it's not me, it's my people. And it's really fun for me then to see you say, oh, no, it was her. And she says, no, it was you. And I get such a great sense of the teamwork that you have built with this team. And I think that that is part of why there is such excellence within the service that we're seeing. So thank you all for that. And talking about that farmer's market did kind of make me wonder, I know we often have an excess in our food service fund. And I wondered about maybe bringing that in with like a little more frequency, even as like an optional participation thing, to have where students would have a chance to take some vegetables home. It could maybe be a way that we could get vegetables home to families that maybe don't have as many, but just offer it to like anyone who might want to do that. So I don't know if that's a thing. Just mull it over. You don't have to, you don't have to respond on it, but just I was wondering about that as a possible thing to do with some of that money, because I know we sometimes have more than we need there, so.
Okay.
But thank you again for all of your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then next up, we have our iReady Spring Data Report. Mr. Menka?
Thank you. So each spring, we like to give you kind of a report of how our students performed on the spring iReady assessment. This is our benchmark assessment. You did receive a report at a previous curriculum committee, but I think Mr. Geremini is going to take us through some highlights in our spring data. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Geremini.
Thank you, Mr. Minka. Can you switch input?
Yep, sorry.
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow Kim.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Just talk about food, we'll be like.
Compare it to food. Well, I am delivering this report this evening because some of my team members are on well-deserved vacation. This report was prepared by Laura Bidlack, our Director of Elementary Education, who oversees all of our iReady assessment. And so I'm going to do my best to represent what she put together here and share with you some of the highlights from our spring diagnostic. As we always remind you, this is one data point. It's just a bit of information for us. We use lots of other data to sort of triangulate how we're doing, but it is good to look at this one data point and understand what it represents. Some highlights from this overall report. All of our schools continue to demonstrate high performance in both reading and math. I think that's unsurprising, but still positive. We see growth improvement across multiple grade levels. So in terms of how much they grow in a year, we see some grade levels improving year over year. And as we begin to think about the closing out year of the current strategic plan, we see a number of areas of success where we've achieved the goals that we set out and others that we've made progress toward. Some of the wonderings that we have about this data set this year, there were some slight changes to the environment and the testing schedule at the middle school, and we're curious about the impact of that on the data. And then wondering how we might grow some systems of support for fifth grade through high school, where we see a larger number of students than anticipated who would be eligible for additional Tier 3 support. Our quadrant diagrams that we represent, this compares performance and growth. The vertical axis is the growth. The horizontal axis is the performance. And so we map these together because you would love to see high performance and high growth for everyone, but it's important to see where we sit. Most of our schools in our district are high performance, high growth, which is outstanding. The outlier to the top right is the high school. It's important to note that the high school is not really a fully representative sample, so we're not really comparing apples to apples there because not all students take the assessment there. And then the middle school is our high-performance, low-growth building. Atypical for them to be a little bit lower. I do think that there were some environmental impacts and some shifts in the desire to take iReady and some of the narrative around iReady on the national level, I think affected their energy toward the assessment. Similar diagram for reading. We did not see the same impact, and we are doing a lot of work in literacy across the district prior to this year and as part of this year with the pilot, as you know, and we'll be doing work next year. So all of our schools are in the high performance, high growth in reading. Shifting to focus on math, some of the highlights. Overall proficiency on math was 78% of our students on or above grade level. That not only significantly outperforms our national averages, but demonstrates a slight increase overall year over year. The overall increase compared to the last 3 years in the strategic plan, we reference comparing our performance to the prior 3 years average, and we beat that by about 2% this year, which is great. And then 4 of our subgroups that we're focusing on demonstrated increased overall progress toward growth spring over spring, and we'll talk about what that means in a little bit. And then some of the things that we're thinking about, the data that we see in math, we think supports the K-12 math curriculum cycle work that we're engaging in next year. The effort to investigate a new resource for curriculum and kind of focus more on mathematical thinking and how we can accelerate math growth for all of our learners. This diagram is something different this year that we wanted to share. On the right, you see the traditional general MTSS framework. The intent of this diagram is to represent the different tiers of instruction, the different tiers of support that students may receive. At the bottom in green is Tier 1. That is our universal core instruction. That is what all students experience. And our goal is to have that be as effective as possible for as many students as possible. Typically in the research, you'll see a number between 80 to 90% of students' needs, learning needs should be met by Tier 1. In Tier 2, that is our targeted intervention provided by classroom teachers. In the research, we expect 5 to 15% of students have their needs met at that level. And then Tier 3 is intensive intervention, typically serviced by one of our interventionists or other support staff. Those are specialized plans, very focused, and about 1 to 5% of students are typically expected to fall in that range. On the left, you see the data for our math students this year, this spring. So pretty close, 78%, 16%, and 6% respectively. It's about as anticipated, and we're always trying to do better. This speaks to the efforts that we're making around the curriculum work, the pilot, because that is Tier 1. Jump slides. This slide represents the percent of students who met their typical and stretch growth. Typically, we're looking at growth in a different way, but this is the percent of students who met their growth. So each student has an individualized growth target based on their initial performance in the fall. And iReady projects what their growth should be. A typical situation, which would be 1 year's growth in 1 year's time, and then a stretch situation where it's 2 years' growth in 1 year's time. And you can see that students perform quite well, and that where the green arrows indicate that that's an increase year over year. So where you see that 62% of students in kindergarten met their typical growth this year, that is an increase over last year. Similarly for third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade in typical growth, and then third and eighth grade in stretch growth. Comparison to the benchmarks, we like to look. We know that we typically outperform national benchmarks, but it's important for us to keep track of that. You can see that on this chart, 78% of our students are in the green, so early on, mid or above grade level. That vastly outperforms the national performance and the national norms from 22-23. You can see that year-to-date in the country, that we are as a country actually lagging behind the national norm established in 22-23. And so we're hoping to continue to improve, even though the nation as a whole is declining. Looking at our subgroups now. So our goal is to always see our subgroup data outperform the aggregate data. It's hard because the subgroup is part of the aggregate data, but that means that we're closing gaps. So typically, if we've historically underserved a particular group of students, we want to see them gaining in order to close the gap over time. So in this case, the green arrows do represent improvement year over year. And we see that there are subgroups that outperform the aggregate, including the Asian subgroup in this case. Top is the aggregate, the 122%, with American Indian, Alaska Native very close. So one thing that we wondered about this was, has our effort and our focus on literacy over the past few years potentially temporarily negatively impacted some math performance? So the middle school, Meadows, and the high school all went through pilots this year in literacy, and so there was a great deal of focus there. There's the possibility of impact there. And then it also just speaks to the need for us to do the work in math that we are doing next year. Additional subgroup data, again, the green arrows represent increases year over year. You can see for economically disadvantaged and special education students with IEPs, that those groups increased year over year. Stretch growth is something we build into our strategic plan. I think I've said before that aiming for stretch growth is something I received a critique for from Curriculum Associates for the company that uses iReady. They said that's a particularly rigorous goal, and I said, thank you. We're going to continue to work on it. So in this case, 80% is the median progress toward annual stretch growth. So they didn't quite make 100% of stretch growth, which again would be 2 years of learning in 1 year's time. But we do have some of our subgroups that are exceeding the aggregate, including the Asian subgroup and the 2 or more races subgroup. And 2 or more races subgroup is one that we have identified in the past as being behind in terms of the performance on this measure. You can see on the next slide, similarly, Hispanic and Latino and students with IEPs increased year over year, and the Hispanic or Latino subgroup is matching the aggregate stretch growth, which is part of the goal. We want to match or beat that aggregate performance. Similarly, our English learners are exceeding the aggregate performance in mathematics, or excuse me, the aggregate growth in mathematics. Shifting now to reading. Highlights in reading, overall proficiency at 74% of students on or above. That again significantly outperforms the national average and is a slight increase, very slight, overall from last year. This also reflects a greater performance than the average of the last 3 years by about 1%. We see that as a measure reflected in our strategic plan. And another measure in our strategic plan relates to K-4 focus. And we see our stretch growth is at or above the overall group for 4 of our 9 subgroups, and we'll jump into that when I get to that slide. And we know that our data here, we've done a lot of good work in terms of core Tier 1 curriculum. We've adopted K4, and we've been under implementation phase for a couple of years. And we've also piloted and will soon implement for 512. We know that work is impactful, but we also know that the work that we've done around MTSS processes, refining those processes, making them more thoughtful, careful, and intentional, and aligned and coherent, has been helpful to us in this area. Similar chart as math. You see something a little bit different in the representation of students in the tiers, but still where they are placed in reading on the triangle. We have a little bit higher than anticipated, 11% of students in the Tier 3 band, 14% in Tier 2, and lower than hoped, 74% in Tier 3. When we dig in, the difference is in 512, so it's significantly better in terms of matching the theoretical model when we look at K4 than it is for 512, which again, further justifies the efforts that we've made in terms of curriculum and focusing on Tier 1. When you want to address opportunities in this area, Tier 1 is the space to start, right? The better that we do with our core instruction for being appropriate for all students, the better outcomes we'll see overall and fewer students needing additional intervention and support. Students progressing toward typical and stretch growth, so this is similar to the chart that I showed you for mathematics. We see 3 grade levels outperform their year prior. Typical growth, 71% for 3rd grade, and then we see 5th and 8th. And then similarly, stretch growth improvements for 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 8th grades in terms of the percent of students, again, meeting those growth objectives. Comparison to benchmarks, again, the nation is declining in performance relative to the national norms established in 22-23. And our district continues to excel. I think that's 74% of our students, as I mentioned earlier. Looking at our subgroups, our progress to annual typical growth is steady year over year, the 135% in aggregate, the overall. And you see year over year improvements for 3 of our subgroups, which is outstanding. And then you see at least 2 of our subgroups are above the aggregate, and we continue to work on that. And then in the next slide, 2 additional groups, economic disadvantage and students with IEPs, both increased year over year. Just double checking last year's numbers. And then if we shift to stretch growth, because we focus on the strategic plan goal, 77% is the average, or excuse me, the median progress towards annual stretch growth. And we have multiple subgroups greater than that, including American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, and 2 or more races. And then we have improvements for both Asian group and Black or African American group. As we continue, similar for the other subgroups, we see economic disadvantage and special education, again, improving year over year, but those groups are not yet meeting or beating that overall group, the aggregate group, and so that is something that we continue to work on. Our English learners continue to achieve greater progress toward annual stretch growth than the aggregate, which is great, especially in reading. This year we added a focus on the K4 because of the strategic plan goal. And so if you look, this is only K4 students. So we separated out K4 from the whole. Overall, K4, 90% of students achieve stretch growth. You can see that American Indian and Alaska Native, the subgroup, was at 100% and represented also an increase year over year from last year. That's great. Our Asian subgroup also met that target. And then our Black or African American subgroup increased year over year, 85%, so we still have work to do. And then lastly, for the additional subgroups, so I showed you 2 on the last slide that had met that goal. Economic disadvantage and special education also increased year over year. And then the first 2 on that page, Hispanic or Latino and English learner, they beat the aggregate growth for the group or matched it. There is, of course, as usual, the appendix available to you with lots and lots and lots more slides and data that we often present in small group or other settings. So you're welcome to look at that or ask any questions.
Mr. Mishner?
So at a high level, multi-part question for you, Mr. Germini. We brought on literacy curriculum change for K through 4. That's now 100% in place. What are the upcoming events that I'm looking at are literacy 5 through 12, and then math, I believe we're starting again in the higher grades, and then we're going to hit the lower grades secondary. I think we're changing that as opposed to what we were doing for literacy. And then I know you're also doing the MTSS improvements. Is there anything else that your team is planning to do that should be in the board's purview as we look at the numbers semester over semester, year over year, to look for how those changes are hopefully positively affecting these numbers?
Absolutely. So I just want to recap. K-4 literacy is in its third year of implementation. 512 will be in its first year of implementation next year. Next year is a K-12 math pilot. So it is a small pilot that still includes all of the grade levels. And then what we will look at through that pilot is, first of all, is the resource appropriate for us? And then second of all, what is our implementation plan? Because we've talked about not doing a full K-12 implementation all at once, but staggering and phasing that implementation, as you mentioned. We are doing a lot of work, again, as you mentioned, about MTSS or around MTSS, refining those processes. We've made significant progress in K-4, some progress in 5-6, and we have some work to do 7-12 to get those processes updated. And then I would also add that the co-teaching efforts and the shift in the model for English learners, mandated by the state and implemented this year for the first time, very much in a pilot approach, still district-wide, but a pilot approach to figure out what might work with our staffing. That's going to continue next year with some modifications. And then the introduction of special education, or reintroduction of special education co-teaching at certain levels is another area that I would say would potentially impact these results.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Any other questions? Okay, I had one for you. We've talked a lot over the last few years about our 3 subgroups that we keep an eye on. So that's special education, lower income families, and our Black students. Seeing this data, it looks like we're seeing some improvements in the growth of those areas, especially more in reading, where that we've implemented the new Tier 1 instruction. But I am curious, do you have any thoughts on what else we could do to help, I hate the phrase closing the gap, but our growth for most of our subgroups is still higher than those 3 groups that we consider at risk, and I'm curious if you've got any other thoughts of how we could help to boost the growth in those groups.
Sure. So just to contextualize a little bit, one of the challenges that we have focusing on special education growth as a subgroup is that when students start to perform better and better, sometimes those students are removed from that subgroup because they no longer qualify for services. And so that the students that might be helping to continue to bring up the average and make it closer to the aggregate or closer to the overall may leave the group. And so that is a challenge. It doesn't mean we don't keep trying, but it is a challenge in the statistical modeling, right? I would say for the students identified as economically disadvantaged, many of the things that we're doing that might be on its face focused on other subgroups, so like the English learner focused co-teaching, that benefits all students. Having a second educator in the room is a benefit to all students. The challenge with that is then also some of your higher performing subgroups benefit from that as well. And so sometimes you're moving the target as you're trying to shift the target or shift the performance of a particular focused subgroup. So just in terms of like the math, the way I think about it, those are challenges that we have to face. Again, it doesn't mean that we don't keep trying. One of the things that we did at one of our buildings this year was a focus, like the building focused on a set of students that they identified as at risk for other factors, and really said, as a building, these are our students that we are going to focus on. And so you might have direct interactions with them because they are in your classroom, or you may have indirect interactions with them because you serve them as an interventionist, or you see them in the lunchroom, or you see them in the playground. These are our focus kids, and we're going to really try to focus on them. And they saw positive results. So then the staff, what they did, what the principal did, is led the staff through professional learning, focused on the needs of that subgroup, that group of kids, I should say, not this particular subgroup here, and they saw some good results. So that kind of like targeted, intentional effort, we used to call it like school improvement. it's not the word that we really use anymore. But that kind of effort is what we need in order to like reach these subgroups that we're struggling to reach.
So with that one group where that was practiced, you saw good results there, so is that something you're going to try to push out? Okay, great. Well, I look forward to hearing more about that, and thank you for your attention to it. Mr. Cook?
Yeah, Mr. Giannini, when I look at this data, I'm kind of disappointed. I know we perform well compared to other schools nationally and stuff, but when I look from fall to spring or spring to spring, I'm only seeing 20 to 30% of the kids that are actually getting the one-year growth. Because you're looking at kids that start out, we've got a very high percentage start out at mid or above grade level to begin with. So are those kids actually learning throughout the year? And we're bringing a lot of kids up from those lower categories to get mid to above grade level at the end of the year. They should, you know, so like I say, I'm only seeing like, 25, 30% in, I think it was 30% in math and 25% in reading that really made an advancement. So I'm kind of disappointed in these results. And I know we try to celebrate the little things and stuff like that, but being better nationally than a lot of people doesn't necessarily do the good kids that are not making their year's growth. So, go ahead.
So one of the challenges is in how that measure is represented. So when you look at grade level placements in the fall, they don't mean the same thing as they do in the spring. So where you expect a kid to be in the fall is not necessarily where you expect them to be in the spring in terms of how iReady Diagnostic defines on grade level, above grade level, below grade level. It's different because they expect the students to have progressed. So it actually changes. So it's not an apples to apples comparison to say the fall to the spring looks a certain way. A better way to look at that measure that you're interested in is the
Spring to spring?
Well, that's, even spring to spring is challenging because we're looking at kids in different grade levels at different times. It is I don't have the numbers on the slides. So it's the
relative
students
placement.
progressing toward typical and stretch growth. So if we look at a slide like this in reading. So what this is indicating is that 64% of our students actually met their typical growth. So 64% of our students in kindergarten grew a year in a year's time.
Okay.
Because their target is individualized. So if they started at on or above grade level, their target is higher. It's not the same target for every kid, right? It's not like you just have to meet a certain level. On or above grade level could mean those kids grew so much that they're in second grade level, even though they're in kindergarten. Like that growth is just not the same. And so in first grade, it was 68% of kids met their 1 year's growth in 1 year's time. Second grade, it was 70%, and so on. So that, I just want to say, like, the comparison from fall to spring doesn't give the information in the way that you would think that it would. It is a very confusing thing that I had to learn about iReady when I came to this district, never having used iReady before.
Okay. My other question is, you mentioned in the very beginning, this is just one data point that you guys consider, which I understand and I firmly believe in. But do we take these individual data points and we look at them as an aggregate, where in some areas we might weight something a little bit more, in other areas, we'd weight something different a little bit more? Or do we do we always just look at these data points as individuals and not really look at a whole aggregate score or aggregate assessment?
I don't know that I follow, I'm sorry.
We could probably talk about that offline, but it's, a lot of times when you take a measure, it's one data point, and you're measuring it the iReady way. You're taking another data point and you're measuring it the PSAT. M-step way, the PSAT way.
Yep.
They're all measured in different ways. Do we see any correlation between what's going on with those? Do we focus on some parts of one more than some parts of another? Or do we just look at them as this is an individual data point, let's address this. This is an individual data point, let's address this, and so on.
No, we look at it together. So a couple of things, a couple of thoughts on that, just to highlight, and then obviously we can dig in as deeply as you'd like together. We look at MSTEP, we look at PSAT, we look at all of the assessments available to us, our teachers' in-class assessments, benchmark assessments, et cetera. All of those things are looked at. One thing I will say is when we have EduClimber online, we'll be able to see it all together for an individual kid and make sense of that, almost like a clinical sense, like your doctor can see the results of all of your tests and the trends for those tests.
Okay.
Your labs, you have all of that in front of you. That's one piece that will happen at a very micro level, at the student level, and then, of course, we can see it at a higher level. We do analyses of how predictive is iReady, because this is the assessment that is given the most, right? Students take this 3 times. How predictive is it of their performance on, say, MSTEP? And there's a high correlation. It's above 80%. So we're happy with that because it tells us that they're aligned, because what they're assessing is standards, right? In theory, we're measuring content knowledge and skills, not necessarily the test itself. So it is highly predictive. And there was one other thing, but I lost it.
Okay.
You were smiling.
That's okay. We'll get into more detail some other time.
So that prompted another question. You said we're bringing on EduClimber, is that what that was called? Where it'll merge all the student data? Will that program have ability to produce reports that would kind of tell you if students are in the red zone in, 2 out of 3 of their data
Yes.
points? That sounds amazing. So when will we have that up and going?
It will be fully implemented and fully functional 27, 28. Next year, we'll be training our intervention specialists and our lead staff in MTSS,
Okay.
and our building administrators.
But it'll be starting next year and then more
Correct.
fully the following year?
It's a big onboarding process to get all the data to sync, and that was what we spent a lot of this school year doing.
That sounds very, very fun.
Riveting.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Giamini. And then next up, we have the Plant Moran Real Point Spring 2026 report. Mr. Minka?
Yeah, I'd like to have Mr. Donnelly come up. They're going to take us through some of our projects that are ongoing, some things that are happening this summer, and just like we do most June, we have PMR come and Mr. Donnelly will share with us. So I'll turn it over to you, Kevin.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here tonight. Happy to be here. I think this is my 18th board update between the 19 and 25 bond program. So always happy to be here to provide an update to the community and the board. We're going to try to keep it brief, 10 minutes, and leave about 5 or 10 minutes for questions or answers. I'm joined here tonight by one of our partners, Brad Anderson with the Chrisman Company, so we'll be happy to answer any questions at the conclusion. I'd like to give an update on just kind of an overview to recap the bond program for everyone's benefit. Progress update since the election and the successful bond passage in November. An update on the Series 1 and 2 projects that we've been working on for the last several months, and what to expect next with bond activities, and kind of paint some expectations. So if you recall, we made a commitment to the community and the constituents that we will touch each and every building within the first 2 years. We have a solid plan to accomplish that. The 25 bond program is $425 million. I think the key item there is to keep in mind that we don't get all that money at once. That's sold through a series of bonds and issuances of various values of dollars. The main component to the high school, although we're touching it, or to the bond program, is the high school. There's going to be a transformational initiative taken on over at the high school through multiple phases, which includes new academic areas, through an innovation hub addition, the activity center, which is going to have an indoor track, an auditorium, substantial improvements to the performing arts, and those spaces adjacent to it, like the Black Box Theater. We are going to have improvements at all the other buildings as well, the K-8 buildings, which will include elementary, classroom additions, remodeling, playground improvements, and then a substantial improvement over at the middle school through a STEM addition, an athletic wing, dedicated entrance, new turf field, and concession improvements. And with all of these projects and kind of behind the scenes, and part of this bond program, we're going to purchase buses, All the projects will be supported with new furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and state-of-the-art technology. The next sheet here really just represents the capital plan and how we're going to sell 5 series of, we're going to have 5 bond sales through 5 series. We have already sold our first one this past spring. The next one will happen in '27, and then really every 2 years for the next few, and then the final one in 2032. So what progress have we made since November? There's been a lot of activity behind the scenes. We have regular team meetings, as Superintendent Micah and Becca can attest to. There's a lot of meetings ongoing behind the scenes, design coordination meetings. We are working on developing some of our communication tools that we will start rolling out this fall, such as dashboards and quarterly reports. As progress is ongoing with actual work, we've implemented owner-architect contractor meetings, which are ongoing. We've been working with the communications team to make sure that we're properly communicating to the community and updating the bond website. We have internally developed our own, project management plans that we need to do as a team. Ongoing communication, coordination meetings with district facilities, Mike and his team. And then, as most of you can attest to, we've had several capital project meetings behind the scenes. As far as finance, accounting, and governance, we've completed our bond governance procedures, which has gone in front of the board. We've established our accounting procedures, how we're going to manage the money behind the scenes with all the appropriate stakeholders. Our project management implementation system, which we utilize eBuilder. We've conducted training with Becca and her staff, and we have all of the budgets established and set up with the eBuilder, and we're starting to run invoicing through eBuilder. As I mentioned earlier, the Series 1 bond sale, we've closed on that, and that happened in March. Schedule and budget, we've finalized our Series 1 and 2 schedule, budget, and cash flow. We are actively working on Series 3 through 5, which we'll have a further update to provide in the fall to kind of outlay those next series. We have estimates that we're working on for projects that are coming out to bid, projects that have bid, and that's in large part, the Crispin team helps develop those. We have coordination logistics plans. A lot of logistics are going to go into the high school, so we've been working internally on those. And you'll see there in the agenda tonight, we've been working behind the scenes as a team for any City of Novi negotiations related to the activity center. Due diligence, survey, geotech, things like that, that is all ongoing as well to support future construction. We've completed our construction management contracts. Those are complete. Our architectural and engineering contracts are complete. Our tech designer contracts are complete. So those are really our 3 big consultants, and we're through all of the contracts. We are going to issue here shortly a couple of other RFPs for other team members we need to bring on board, and that's related to commissioning, some of the other support services like testing, survey, geotechnical. Between now and fall, we'll have all those team members on board. As you'll see in the agenda tonight, and as we presented in the past, we are bringing forward what we call GMPs, Guaranteed Maximum Prices, for bid packages and active construction work. All of the playground equipment has been through the board and approved with the trades, and as we'll talk about here in a minute, actually construction is ongoing. The practice fields as well, that's on the agenda tonight, but the turf and the trades, we're looking to get that project teed up next. And the Wellness Center, which is on the agenda tonight for approval, we're getting ready to start that project as well. And my button here is delayed. There we go. Really jumped ahead.
I was worried that was going to happen.
Excuse me. All right, so again, we made a commitment to the community to touch each and every student in every building within the first 2 years. This slide really demonstrates that plan. We are going to touch all the elementaries through the first series of work at the elementary buildings via playground improvements. That includes all the elementary buildings in the early childhood. We have a lot of major improvements that are in the planning phases right now at the high school. That's the Innovation Hub, Performing Arts, Activity Center, and Auditorium. And we actively have a turf replacement and track replacement project underway. We are going to be doing improvements at the middle school through multiple phases. Next summer, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, will be new flooring throughout the building. We're looking at technology improvements and potential select areas for furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Also within the first series, we are going to be doing the Wellness Center. We have athletic practice fields, phase one of those, which are going to be ongoing, and any deferred maintenance like roofing, HVAC equipment, as budget allows, we'll be helping Mike and his team get ahead of that work as well. So as far as a schedule related to these projects within Series 1 and 2, we have active projects ongoing right now at 3 of the elementary buildings for playgrounds, Parkview, Novi Woods, and the early childhood. Next year, we're going to be tackling the other 3 playgrounds, which includes Deerfield, Orchard Hills, and Village Oaks. We actively have a turf replacement and track project going on right now. That started back in May, and that's over at the high school. And we're looking to be done August 10th before the first practice. In fact, from what I'm hearing, we might be done a little bit sooner. Let's keep our fingers crossed for good weather. We're getting ready to start the Wellness Center right after the 4th of July holiday. That'll be completed next spring. The Meadows turf and practice fields, which is up for approval tonight, those are looking to start this fall, potentially sooner, and be online next summer. Middle school improvements, we're looking to do those improvements that I mentioned earlier next summer between June and August. The Innovation Hub, which is a fairly large project over at the high school, is looking to start this fall and be complete June of '28. And the Performing Arts, we're looking to start early January of '27 and be complete the following year in March. The Activity Center, we have multiple packages that we're looking to administer with that project, with the first package being a site demo and partial utility package, and we're looking to start that work this fall and be complete 100% summer of 2029. Just some progress photos from some of the work that's ongoing. The top 3, in fact, are over at Novi Woods. The bottom 2, going left to right at the bottom there, those are of the early childhood. And the one on the far right is over at Parkview. We're in the demo site improvement stage right now. There'll be a lot of improvements as we move forward in the summer. Just some renderings of the playground layout, starting with Novi Woods, the early childhood. Parkview, we've got 2 playgrounds that we're working on over there. Just kind of some of the site layouts of those particular playgrounds when they're finished. The practice field, which is just behind this building here, that's a rendering of that practice field, what it will look like when it's complete, which is scheduled to be done next spring. Progress photos over at the high school turf and track. In fact, these are probably outdated. There's been a lot of activity day-to-day out there. I took these about a week ago. We are looking to start putting down asphalt paving next week. Turf is actually showing up, I believe, on Monday. So we're going to start to see turf being rolled out in the near future, along with the asphalt paving being put down. That asphalt paving will be in that condition for probably about 2 or 3 weeks to get cure time on it before we put the coating on, but so far everything's tracking great. This is a rendering of what that final product will look like. We're all looking forward to that. The Wellness Center, which we're starting here after the 4th of July holiday, just some renderings that King Scott had put together, more for the public's perspective when they hit the website. Fitness area over at the Wellness Building. Some of the breakout rooms. Innovation Hub. This is a rendering of what the exterior of that could potentially look like, along with another elevation view of that and an interior view. Performing Arts, like I mentioned earlier, that's a project that we're also going to start right out of the get-go at the high school, which is being designed right now. Just some renderings that were put together by King Scott. Substantial improvements. You can notice the multiple aisles versus that's going to be a great improvement. Some conceptual renderings of the Activity Center. I know King Scott and the team are putting together updated renderings. I'm sure we'll be able to present those at our next capital projects, and they'll certainly hit the fall presentation, but just some conceptual renderings. Along with the natatorium. So outside of the Series 1 and 2 projects and what I presented tonight, what are some things that we should look forward to and as far as bond activities and expectations? We are going to complete the playground design for next year's playgrounds here in October. This is as far as design work being done, ready for bid. The High School Innovation Hub will be complete for design this October as well. Performing Arts is in fact later this summer. We are going to be tracking a early demo and partial utility package for the Activity Center sometime in September for completion, so we can start later in the fall. And then the balance of the Activity Center site and building package early 2027. Construction activities that are going to be starting here in the near term. The Wellness Center, like I mentioned, July, right after the holiday. The practice fields in September, if not sooner. Innovation Hub this fall as well. Performing Arts in January of next year. The Activity Center late this fall. And then Deerfield, Orchard Hills, Village Oaks Playgrounds starting next summer. So a lot of activity. We're excited about the work that's ongoing and what's yet to come. And I feel pretty good about the progress that the team is making. So I hope I got through that quick enough. I'd like to leave some time for questions and answers. And again, I'm joined here by our partner from Chrisman, Brad Anderson. I'm welcome to entertain any questions that you may have.
Anybody have questions? I just have one quick one for any community members that might be catching up on all this. I saw on here you have the Village Oaks Playground and as well as some other ones that the communities where there's been some already big updates done to those. Can you speak a little bit about just generally what's being done at the, like at Village Oaks Playground, for example?
Yeah, Village Oaks had a lot of playground improvements a few years back. We are basically completing some of the areas over there with the surfacing, maybe some new amenities. We're going through the programming right now with the building administration. But yeah, I think the community is aware there was substantial improvements done there in the past, but some of the surfacing, some of the outlying areas are going to be completed.
So that one will just be some like smaller additions versus like a whole. redo.
Yes, that's a good point. We're not tearing out what we did and redoing it. There's a lot of good work that's been done. We're just
A lot of good
improving
things.
upon it.
Okay, great, thank you. Anybody else have any questions or anything else? Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Donnelly, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have comments from the audience. Not sure who would have the cards this evening. No, okay. Seeing none, next thing on our agenda is a 5-minute break. We'll probably do maybe just like a 3 to 5 minutes, so once everyone is back, we'll resume. Okay, thank you.
Refill.
Ready then? Smells good. Joseph, we're ready to come back.
Okay. We need to be rapid here, folks.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Next up, we have the consent agenda, and that includes the approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting, May 14th, 2026, the master planning meeting, committee of the whole, May 28th, 2026, curriculum committee of the whole meeting, June 1st, 2026, meeting of a joint CPC and finance meeting, which was committee of the whole, June 15th, 2026. Also approving the bills for the board reports April and May 2026, check registers April and May 2026, purchase card reports April and May 2026. And then there's 4 field trips, which is the varsity sideline cheer camp, the junior varsity and middle school sideline cheer camp, varsity girls field hockey to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the boys and girls cross-country trip to Traverse City, and then the approval of the MHSAA membership 2026-2027. Mr. Mena?
Yeah, I move that the board approve consent items as presented.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Jason.
Jason, okay, great. So moved by Mr. Mena, supported by Mr. Mishner. Any questions? Okay, then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so 6-0 for that. And then we have information and discussion. First up is the NCSD master plan. Mr. Manka?
Thank you. I can jump to that one. So the master plan situation that I'd like to discuss, just really for, give the board the opportunity to speak about anything that they'd like to add based on our last discussion from the committee of the whole on May 28th. But just so the community understands, we have been working on developing a master plan, and there are questions about how does a master plan interact with a strategic plan? What is a master plan? I have to give credit to Trustee Cook, who essentially said, several years ago, he had a vision for, what are we thinking about 10, 20, 30 years from now as a district as we prepare for our facilities, our programs, our philosophies around staffing, all sorts of different things. And so we kind of envision that the master plan would be a foundational document. The city is working on a master plan that it happens to be for, 2050 is kind of their title. We've been working on a similar type of a concept to kind of go along with that would say, for example, when would we start to need to consider facility space issues if we have elementary schools that are too large? Or when might we consider doing an addition based on certain triggers that we might hit for enrollment? Those are things that would be included in a master plan, as well as how are we preparing for technology and artificial intelligence and things that might be coming down the road. And so your master plan serves as something that's a longer term vision at a much higher level, and then your strategic plan, which is typically going to be completed every few years, is going to be more granular and is going to pull pieces from that master plan. So we had a discussion on May 28th as a whole board, it was a committee of the whole, to talk about the master plan. I don't know, Mr. Cook, if you have anything you want to add, but it's coming for information and discussion tonight with the intent that we would possibly approve the master plan in August at our board meeting, a regularly scheduled board meeting. So I'll turn it over to you if you have.
No, that about covers it. It's just it's kind of something that I wanted to see, I thought would be great, so that we're not piecemealing things throughout the district, or we see a need here, and then we do something there, but we don't see what it affects on another area in the district. And hopefully, with this master plan, we will take an aggregate look at things and not just individual piecemealing things. So I appreciate the committee members that were part of it, and appreciate Mr. Micah's taking all our brain dumps and making some sense out of them. And we did have a very good document that the committee of the whole is able to review and give feedback if they wanted to. And I think we're ready to move forward with NCSD 2050.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cook and Mr. Micah. And I appreciate everybody's work on this. Oh, Mr. Mishra?
Yeah, just a quick question. So am I correct in my assertion this would be our first ever master plan for the district?
I have to believe yes. I don't want to speak with authority that yes, absolutely, but I doubt that we have had one in the past because I'm not aware of many other districts at all that have them. Yet, I think it's a really good practice. You know, if you think about, you have long-range planning and then you have more short-term planning that, you know, you want to break down into smaller parts that are actionable. I really think this could be a model that would be something that people would look to say that's a good, it's good to have foresight into what are we thinking in the future and how might we adapt to changing technologies or changing pedagogical approaches. And I think I'm not aware of many, if any, other districts that are using this type of approach. Yet I think it makes total sense. You do see a lot of organizations using long-range planning, master planning, followed by more short-term strategic planning. And so I think it's a good opportunity for us to start something here. I would go out on a whim and say I think this would be our first ever as a district, but I'd have to get that information definitively before I say that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And my apologies to everybody, I did go out of order. I was looking at an older version of the agenda, so my apologies on that. So we will move back up to the kitchen equipment for Novi High School and Novi Woods. Mr.
Sure.
Manka?
Yeah, so Novi High School is in need of a new dish machine, which, you know, Kim is very excited about, as you heard earlier. It's very similar to the one we purchased at Novi Middle School and installed. Novi Woods is in need of a walk-in cooler. These purchases would come out of the excess fund balance and the food service fund. These are aging out equipment. The total expenditure on the kitchen equipment is $108,371.87. I'll turn it over to Ms. Cicluna if you have anything that you want to add or speak to on this purchase.
There is one update to the walk-in cooler. So as we dug into this after the board already received this for info and discussion, we came to find out that the walk-in cooler at Novi Woods, that project was much more extensive than just purchasing a walk-in cooler and installing it. It requires contracting with architecture and designing, electrical, a lot of stuff that in order to use the excess fund balance, the food service fund, we actually had to submit a request to the MDE. And I'm super excited and happy to announce that at 6 p.m. this evening, Ben and I received an email with the MDE approving that purchase. So the total request is actually more than the 108. I was going to do some quick math and add the sums together. It's roughly 149,000 and some change that we would ask the board to approve because the walk-in cooler project, like I said, is going to be a bit more.
Okay. So that's coming to you for info and discussion. I think, as with a lot of times when we talk about kitchen equipment, unless there are, you know, specific concerns that any board members might have, it's helpful for us to move this to action. We're not specifically needing that to happen. We can wait until August, but we don't have another board meeting, a regular board meeting until August. So I thought I would at least put that in your court. Obviously, in order to do anything to move this to action, we'd need to get a number that we're shooting for. So if, would you say that a not to exceed 150,000 would be an appropriate number?
I have the number.
You do have the number, okay.
It's 150,489.98. Becca, after, if that expenditure is approved, do you know what the fund balance would be after that?
Very excessive. We tried to spend the fund balance down this year. Like, I've really been pushing Kim to do the inventory of equipment. And I think now that we have an understanding of the age of pieces of equipment throughout the district, we can move more swiftly to replace some 20-plus-year-old pieces. But it took us a while to do that survey and understand where we really were. So we actually added more to our fund balance this year than we were able to spend down. So we're going to have to continue to chip away at that going into next year.
Can you send to the board at some point, not time sensitive, a summary of like what the fund balance is at, how much we drew from it in fixed assets this year, and what is it at? So like, when you say excessive, I don't know what that numerically means, and we might have different versions, but just so the board is aware of like what that balance is at, how it gets funded, and what we're using it for would be helpful.
Absolutely, I can do that.
So I think there's two comments on that. Did you say 150, 400 and what?
$150,489.98.
The other thing that I might just make mention of is, the fund balance in food service is something that pretty much every school in the state of Michigan has been cited on their audits as being excess fund balance. It's actually it's actually viewed as a negative thing. We get marked down because we cannot spend that fund balance down fast enough. So
Anything greater than zero.
yeah, we're actually trying to spend it down quicker than we are able to. So I absolutely think that we could pull those numbers pretty quickly, but you know, if we want to hold off on this until we get that information, we can wait until August to make that approval. But that's up to you.
Do we have restrictions on like what type of assets we can buy with it, or why is it so difficult to spend? Like, we have 7,000 mouths to feed.
We have tremendous restrictions related to what can be spent, and then we have to submit plan on top of plan to the Michigan Department of Ed. It then also, in many cases, depending on what you're buying, you have to go through the FDA, which is a whole nother thing. So there are just a lot of layers of bureaucracy to this. Most districts find themselves, in fact, I'm not aware of any that are not in excess fund balance, particularly with the reimbursed meals. And so it's not a good thing, but at the same time, we're not in peril of like overspending in this particular fund, because those funds are completely restricted. It's not like we can take those funds and offset something else. So essentially, anything that touches food service, so it could be the employees that are in there, our Chartwell's contract. One of the reasons that we've increased the quality of our food to the point where we're now offering like halal meats, for example, which is exceptionally more expensive, is because we have those funds to be able to do that. So we're continuing to try and probably it's not a money issue when it comes to the question about can we do another vegetable, produce day. It's not a money issue because we have the excess fund balance to do that. It's more of how much can our staff actually pull off, and make happen. So, but I'm totally appreciative of the conversation, and I think we can hold off until August if you'd be more comfortable with that as well.
I'm not sure we can.
Do we have timing constraints? Like, do we need this now? What's the lead time on this? I have no issue moving it to action items, but.
Even if you approve it now, it's going to take a while because we have to have like an architect come look at it. And we did get the funding approved, so we have the money approved because that went through the proper chain. We had to set it in the form. If we wait another 2 months, we won't start it until probably January of next year.
With the enhancements the bond is making with food service, are we incorporating that into, I know we're not.
We are strategically waiting on the high school to do anything, and/or I reach out to, with Becca, I reach out to Stu and say, and to the Baker Group team, I need a new dish machine. They sent me specs of what they think will work within the new kitchen improvement plan, and then that's how we are moving forward. Like, the high school's like one of those taboo things where I'm reaching out to that group before we go any further.
So they're comfortable that this would fit in the specs? that-
Correct.
okay.
Correct.
If we were to approve this tonight, would it be easy, I mean, quicker to get this stuff installed? I know the walk-in cooler, no.
Correct.
But there's other things that are on this list.
The dish machine, it could help us to get the dish machine sooner. We did have to do, our dish machine is broken down a few times, and so we had to do a few repairs. We've spent, I think it was $859 to get a repair done on it. We're putting Band-Aids on things that we just need to replace. So Becca had asked me to make some really smart, quick, educated decisions, and I asked for the best. So it's a great dishwasher.
Thank you.
Be careful, you'll have people showing up with dirty dishes just to wash them.
Listen, I'll be a dishwasher all day. It's the best job in the world.
So did anybody want to make a motion on this, or would we need to just move it down to action? What would be the best way to do that?
I think you could do it right here.
Okay, anybody interested in doing that? Mr. Commissioner, sorry, Mr. Mike is in the way here.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the total amount of $150,489.98 for the addition of a new dishwasher at the high school and a walk-in cooler at Woods by Great Lakes Hotel Supply and DDS Group out of the excess fund balances from the Food Services Fund.
Support.
So moved by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mrs. Roney. Any further discussion needed? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that passes 6-0. Thank you.
Go spend your money.
Thank you.
Okay, and then next up, we have the Deerfield storm drain. Mr. Manka?
Yeah, so over at Deerfield Elementary, we do have a storm drain that's in the front of the building that is collapsing. The maintenance team identified a collapsing drain. We had several crews go out and inspect, and we looked at trying to get some quotes, and the best quotes for rehab is through Powerback, and the construction requires 3 to 4 week lead time to receive materials. Its installation is expected to be about 2 days. The rehab will be funded through the sinking fund, and so the total expenditure for this is $99,195, and that'll be coming to you on August 13th for approval.
Anybody have any questions, comments? Mr. Cook?
This looks like another one that, if we wait till August 13th, we'll be disrupting school when this is happening. So I would be more than willing to make a motion to move this to action today and fill our sinkhole.
I agree.
Okay,
So I move that we approve the expenditure for drain rehabilitation at Deerfield for the amount of $99,195 to be spent out of the sinking fund.
Support.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Cook, supported by Mrs. Kleebert. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that passes 6-0 as well. And then next up, we have a closed session. If I could get a motion for that, please. Mr. Cook?
I move that we move into closed session for the purpose of negotiations under OMA Section 8(1)C.
Support.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Cook, supported by Mr. Mena. If we could get a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Beaudoin,
Yes?
Trustee Cook, yes. Trustee Kleebert,
Yes.
Trustee Mitchner,
Yes.
Trustee Mena,
Yes.
Trustee Roney.
Yes.
Okay, so
Passes 6-0.
6-0. And then just so everybody knows, the plan here, we're gonna be gone, hopefully not for a very long time, and then we will be coming back to continue the agenda and take further action. So thank you for your patience while we review some contracts.
We need to fix that.
Yeah.
Especially as much as Kevin's around here. No, I think we can turn a profit.
Okay, Mr. Green, we're ready. Okay, thank you everyone for your patience. We're back from closed session and ready to move into our action items. First up, we have the NEA 2026 to 2029 bargaining agreement. Mr. Manka?
Thank you. I think I'd like to just say a few things. As you've heard us talk for the last couple years, unfortunately, state funding has been reduced. Net funding has been cut percentage-wise pretty substantially over the last couple years. I've been very, very grateful for the partnership we've had with the NEA and their ability to kind of work collaboratively with us. We have reached a tentative agreement with our teachers union and for a 3-year contract. We are recommending the contract and this agreement be approved by the board. I will also say that Dr. Carino, Ms. Cicluna, Mr. Geremini, our entire district negotiating team, they spent a lot of time, but also Matt Burry, the NEA president, as well as the entire NEA negotiating team. They were respectful, they were collaborative, they were polite, they were advocating for their people as they should be. And I think it was a good example of even in difficult times where we have low funding and things like that, we found other ways to try and make this a great place to work and to support people. And so I'm grateful for everybody that worked on it. And the result, of course, is a 3-year contract that we can put before you as a board tonight. And so the recommendation is that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the 2026 to 2029 NEA bargaining agreement as presented.
Can I get a motion? Mrs. Kleibert?
I recommend that the Novi Community School District Board of Ed, in the best interest of the Novi Community School District, approve the tentative 2026-2029 NEA bargaining agreement reached with the Novi Education Association as presented.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Mrs. Kleibert, supported by Mr. Mishner, and I'll open it up for discussion. Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the, both bargaining teams for coming up with this. It probably wasn't easy sitting across from each other every day or whenever you did it, and probably got sick of looking at each other. But, the teachers are the most important thing in this district, and we're being taxed with, and they're being taxed with more and more students that have special needs. And so we really need to reward our teachers for the work that they have been doing. This contract does that. Although there are some other ramifications that, that come to light, but really appreciate the teachers and what they've been doing, and hopefully this contract is seen as a reward for that.
Anyone else? I'd like to echo Mr. Cook's thoughts on that and thank everyone involved in this negotiation. Dr. Carino, I know you were suffering with pneumonia through a large portion of this time, and so extra thank you to you for persevering through that illness and all the end of the year stuff going on. Also, Mr. Burry, thank you so much for your hard work, and I really appreciate the way that you come to the table to try to reach an agreement with a very collaborative attitude. So obviously I've not sat in these meetings, but I hear only wonderful things about the way you are advocating for our teachers as well as trying to come up with cooperative solutions so we can all move forward together. And again, as a board, I feel like we are so very thankful for all of our staff. If we had more money to give you, we would be handing it out just like candy, right? We would be thrilled to, but given what is currently going on in our climate, we have to make sure that we protect the district so that all of our employees are able to continue here. And really appreciate everybody's hard work at coming to an agreement that'll make that happen. So any other comments then? Are we ready? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Thank you, everybody.
And I think, thank you to Matt for showing up tonight, and you are also welcome to stay for the remainder of the action items, but if you feel like you need to step out, you're good.
Have a great night.
Look how
Thank you.
fast he's running out
I
of
mean,
here.
he should. Mhm. Okay, then next up, we have member district voting on OCSBA bylaws and proposed resolution. Mr.
Thank you.
Minka?
This is a Oakland County School Board Association recommendation to vote on a couple different bylaws that are presented in front of you tonight. That motion comes to you, which really results in a couple different bylaw changes, proposal to the bylaws, and it's there for your consideration this evening.
Can I get a motion? Or, oh, this one we have to sort out how we want to do it, is that correct?
You can just make a motion with the intended
Either
direction.
approving it or
Okay.
All or none, or one or the other.
Mr. Mishner?
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education vote yes on all proposed changes to the bylaws as presented. And for option B, also vote yes for proposal 1 and yes on proposal 2. And the recommendation for proposed new resolution, also a yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mrs. Roney. And then we'll open it up for any discussion. Anybody have any questions on this one? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so that passes 6-0 as well. And then next up, we have the Wellness Center GMP package. Mr. Minka?
Thank you. In April, we took bids for the Novi Community Wellness Center. I will just highlight that one of our items on the to-do list is to actually officially consider a name for that facility. I know that we had originally talked about wellness. One of the things that we talked about in subsequent presentations is that that really is going to be a hub for community education. Wellness is still a part of that, but we are bringing to you a GMP package, which, as you know, we've talked about. The guaranteed maximum price package, as Mr. Donnelly spoke of, is really a maximum all-in cost. It will likely cost less than that, but that's contingency fees, contract manager fees, construction manager fees, all of those things. So it's recommended that the board approve the GMP package for the Community Wellness Center of $6,613,962.
Mr. Mena?
Okay, I'll move that the board approve the Wellness Center GMP and the total award recommendation of $6,613,962.
Support.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Mena, supported by Mrs. Roney. And then we'll open it up for discussion. Anybody have any questions, comments? Mr. Cook?
where are these funds coming from? Could we get those in future recommendations for these? Can we get where the funds are coming from?
Yes, this is coming from the 2025 bond funds.
Any other questions? All right. I did want to say thank you to the team that's been working on this. This project has shifted as funding has shifted. And so I appreciate the flexibility that the team has had with this and all of the hard work that's gone into it. So.
One more question.
Oh,
You
yes.
mentioned the naming of the center. Is that something that we're going to have a discussion about in the near future then?
Yeah, I think that's got to be on our to-do list as a group,
Okay.
for you as a board to have that discussion. Whether or not you decide that you want to have a formal naming committee established like we have for other buildings, or if it can be something that's done at, say, a committee of the whole or just a board discussion. We could provide some recommendations or ask for, solicit some ideas, but the function and longevity and sustainability of the program is really going to be through our community education program, and I think that's something that needs to be somehow reflected in the title. So I thought, I just want to make sure that stays on our radar, so that we can kind of actually formally, whatever it is you decide you'd like to name the facility, we could kind of start going with that and calling it by its new name, if you will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, great. Then, got our motion on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, great. So that passes 6-0 as well. Thank you, everybody. And then our next item is the NCSD van purchase. Mr. Manka?
Do you want to go to vans or do you want to do
Oh.
field turf?
Oh, sorry, I crossed off the wrong one here. Thank you. So, sorry, we'll go back up here to
Yeah.
Meadows Practice Field Turf and the GMP award package.
No problem. Okay, so the project team is recommending the proposal for the project that is going to be the new practice field behind the Meadows facility. This is going to be a facility that's going to serve as both an opportunity for our Meadows students during recess, which they have a gorgeous playground, but still needs some additional green space to be able to play ball and run, as well as the physical education classes. It will also provide some opportunities for the Parkview physical education classes, as well as enhance the area that they use for some of their PTO events. But largely, this will be utilized for the numerous student athletes that we have that need additional practice field space for soccer, for lacrosse, for field hockey, and be able to add to our count of fields. The GMP for Chrisman here is $2,832,596, and that is there for your consideration this evening. The turf award is $717,816, and these funds are coming from the 2025 bond program.
Okay, can I get a motion for that then? Mrs. Kleber?
Motion that the Board of Education approves the turf field award to Shaw Sports for $717,816 and agreements with the contractors noted above for the Meadows practice field with the GMP of $2,832,596 as presented.
Support.
Okay, so moved by Mrs. Kleber, supported by Mr. Cook. And then anybody have any questions on this one? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that passes 6-0 as well, and then we will move on to the vans. That's the NCSD van purchase. Mr. Manka.
Thank you. So we've had some tremendous success with our school vans. We, as you know, purchased several e-vans in the last school year. The last purchase was done in 2024. They have been highly utilized. One of the challenges that we've run into is that we have tremendous need for some vans that can go a little further distance. And so when we have further trips, it would be nice to have some gas vans. So these will be funded out of the Series 1 of the 2026 bond, 2025 bond, but the 2026 series. And the total expenditure is $162,104. And I believe that Mr. Mishner had a comment on this recommendation, so this number could change slightly, but I'll turn it over to you if you want to add that now.
I could make a motion with the revised number and then explain it in discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education, in the best interest of Novi Community School District, approve the purchase of 2 school vans via Langhammer Ford to be funded through the Series 1 of the 2026 bond in the amount of $163,284.
I'll support and hopefully move to comment so we can get an explanation.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mr. Mena, and then Mr. Mishner, I'll throw that back to you to make an explanation for us.
Thank you. So the difference between what was in the original recommendation and the number of that I just mentioned in the motion is $1,180. That is the cost to add keyless entry, a keypad entry, and remote start to both vans. Remote start is something we added to our work trucks for the maintenance department when that was put before the board a couple years back. It's a very practical and useful tool. And then the keyless entry is just a $95 add per vehicle. That will enable simple things like having the keys in the vehicle for whoever coach or instructor needs to take a group of students there, the keys can already be in the vehicle. That number can be provided via text or some other means to that driver, and they can easily pick up or move the van that way. I would suggest these two minimal cost adds to the purchase price for a lot of extra convenience and usage going forward.
Do we know why those weren't added in the first place, or did they not want them?
They
or-
just weren't on the checklist for whatever reason.
Becca likes to save money.
I mean, I didn't spec it out, but I'm sure that's probably what it was, that if Matt spec'd it out and he's like, oh, they're used to carrying keys, let's not give them a convenience they haven't experienced elsewhere, but I love it.
Any-
I'm sitting here curious how you came up with that $1,000. Did you call up the dealership?
Oh, it was,
It's on
all
page
the, all the
three.
prices are on the checklist, so I just did the simple addition.
So anybody else have
was
any other
buried in there.
questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I think those are great recommendations, and I'll be supporting that. So we'll go ahead and do our vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes 6-0. And then next up, we have the L4029 tax levy. Mr. Renko?
Yeah, so the L4029 is simply a tax resolution that allows for the board and the community to know what our tax levy is each year. And so this form is coming to the board for approval. We did have a committee of the whole where we discussed this document. This essentially outlines the respective millage rates for all of our different funds and provides that for not only the community but for the state as they look to create our tax levy. So that is there for the district or for the board's approval this evening.
Anybody want to make a motion for us?
Oh,
Okay. Mrs. Roney?
okay, that the Novi Community School District Board of Ed, in the best interests of the Novi Community School District, certifies and resolves to levy the district taxes for the 2026-27 school years as presented.
Support.
Okay, so moved by Mrs. Roney, supported by Mrs. Kleber. We'll open it up for discussion. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 0. Okay, so that's passing 6-0 as well. And then we will move on to the 2025-2026 final budget. Mr. Menka?
Yeah, we have two resolutions on finances and the budget tonight. The first one is the final and budget amendment for this particular school year. I will say as we're entering into this one that this was a very, very challenging year from a financial standpoint. We've had discussions at this table related to getting a budget in our hands in October and our ability to make changes of magnitude at that level was very, very challenging. I think we did the best we could, but obviously this shows that we had some deficit spending, which we anticipated, especially when the state created some stipulations around privilege and some other things with the 31AA dollars. All in, the board is, presented with this budget, which hopefully will have a final audit on this year's budget in August, September, and so we'll be bringing back those results to you in the fall, but that is there for your consideration this evening.
And then we'll need a motion. Mr. Mena?
Yeah, I move that the board adopt the 2025-2026 final budget amendment resolution as presented.
Second.
Okay. So moved by Mr. Mena, supported by Mr. Mishner. And we'll open it up for discussion. Any questions? You guys are really quiet this evening. Okay, so seeing none then, take our vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 0. Okay, so passes 6-0. Thank you, Ms. Cicluna, for all of your hard work on that, and thank you to your team as well. And then next up, we have the 2026-2027 initial budget. Mr. Menka?
Thank you. So the law requires that local school districts approve a budget by June 30th each year. This is our budget that we're presenting to the board for the 26-27 school year. I would highlight just a few things. First, this budget is obviously one that is a result of compounding challenges over the past couple years. This budget also does, looks at a number of things that would have to be adjusted, particularly if the enhancement millage is not successful. And so I think as we think about, bringing this budget forward, we know that every time we do an initial budget, we're doing so without the knowledge of what the state funding actually is. The state has not yet provided us a budget. We also don't know if the enhancement millage is going to pass. There are a lot of unknowns as we enter into this. But I will say, just based on some of the structural challenges we've had the last couple years, our opportunity to make some adjustments to not just our programming, but also staffing and things like that, will be something that we have to consider in the fall, obviously depending on the outcome of the enhancement millage. And so I think it's important to understand that while we believe there are things that we will employ to make sure that we're protecting the financial stewardship of the district, these are difficult situations when, we're not getting funded at the level that we've been accustomed to for many years. So we're hopeful that the state will pass a budget that's satisfactory over the next week ahead of their deadline, but we have to act in the best interest of our community and district. And so this initial budget is there for your consideration this evening.
Okay, and then we'll need a motion. Mrs. Roney?
That the Novi Community School District Board of Education adopt the 2026-2027 initial budget resolution as presented.
Support.
Okay, so moved by Mrs. Roney, supported by Mr. Mena, and we'll open it up for discussion. Mrs. Roney, you have any questions on it?
No, I'm good.
Mr. Commissioner?
More of a comment than a question. I just want to kind of put forth something that I think everybody at the board table is very aware of, and as well as our administration, is the fact that the budget that we're about to vote on is completely controlled by basically two factors. One is which completely out of our control, and that is the state legislature and how much they want to fund the school aid fund at, which we will hopefully find out soon. The other lever that we have for the first time ever in Oakland County is the Oakland County, what is the correct phrasing for it? The regional enhancement millage. That is something that we as individuals and parents of our districts have actual some control over. If it's passed, we can fund this budget. This budget that we're about to vote on is 100% of all the services that the school offers. All the other things that we've talked about funding are all physical structures and buildings. They're an entirely separate funding pot. This one, the way that we fund all of our services in our amazing district, is completely funded by the state, which is out of our control, and the enhancement millage, which is in our control. So I hope that the public is aware of that and they take that into consideration as they do cast their ballots on that millage, because that could improve our situation. As the last 3 years, we had a school ending fund balance, basically a reserve, of roughly 15% of our expenditures, and the finalized budget we just approved, that number had dropped from 15 down to 10. And we are doing our best to hold at that level, which is much lower than we would like. And if the enhancement millage passes, that could be improved. Without the enhancement millage, we are looking at that level of fund balance or lower as the years progress. If the state does not do something that differs from the trend they've had the last couple of years. So again, two ways to fund this budget we're about to vote on. The state, not in our individual control, and the enhancement millage in our control. So just wanted to make the public aware of that. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? Mr. Cook?
Yeah, this being the first budget, the initial budget of the year, I kind of look at it as like the map that Columbus had when he discovered the Western Hemisphere. I won't say North America because it wasn't quite there. But, sometimes we get into looking at things in such great detail that we wish we had the GPS going at this point in time, but we don't. Especially without the state approving their budget and then, not knowing, where we stand on that. But, hopefully this is a little bit better than Columbus's original map, but we don't want to get much more lower than this. So.
Anybody else? Okay. I would like to kind of piggyback a little bit on what Mr. Mishner was saying. I've had, over my time on this board, I've had a number of community members that have said to me, how can we afford all these buildings, but we can't pay our staff more? And I want to make sure it's very clear, like what Mr. Mishner was speaking about, that we have two separate funds. One is a building fund called Capital Projects, and you'll hear that throughout our meetings. And then there's also our general fund, which is funded by the state and the government, federal government. And those things are not within our control in terms of how much money we get. That millage, though, would help. And so if you are a parent who has thought, I wonder why they don't take better care of the staff or have more money for these things, if we can, build community support for this, that would be an avenue that would allow us more flexibility in things like our teacher contracts as we move forward with these budgets. I also wanted to say this is not a unique problem to our school district, and I have heard from members of other school boards that they're in similar situations. So I just want to say this is not like a Novi-specific issue. It's really just kind of across the board because of the way the funding has happened in the state the last couple of years. So thank you to everybody, and thank you, Ms. Cicluna, for trying to forecast with a crystal ball on a thing that we really don't know much about what it's going to be. So appreciate that effort every time. Thank you. And then we can go ahead and vote on this then if there's no other questions. Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes 6-0. And then we have the Novi High School Ecuador and Galapagos Island field trip for spring break 2028.
Thank you. This, we had a presentation at our last board meeting about the Galapagos Island field trip, and so this recommendation is coming for your consideration this evening. This is the first time we will have taken this trip, which is why it's in action today.
We get a motion? Mrs. Roney?
I'll go for it.
Thank you.
That the Novi Community School District Board of Ed approve the Novi High School Ecuador and Galapagos Island Spring Break 2028 trip to travel from March 30th to April 8th, 2028, as presented.
Support. Sorry, we're all like, need.
Everyone's
numbers.
reading? Okay, like anybody? All right, so moved by Mrs. Roney, supported by Mrs. Kleber, and we'll open it up for discussion. Anybody have any questions on this one?
How do I become a chaperone?
I don't know. We'll have to find
Yeah,
out about that.
I think this is an awesome opportunity. It's a new one.
And this was for biology students, right? Was that the
Yes.
premise? Okay. Like trying to remember from before, but, okay. Anybody else have any questions on it? Mrs. Roney would like to be a chaperone, and other than that, we're okay? All right, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes 6-0. And that takes us to our final action item, which is the City of Novi Retention Pond and Easement Agreement. Mr. Micah.
Thank you. Had the opportunity to visit at the city council meeting this week Monday, and was very, very grateful for the spirit of the meeting and their collaborative attitudes, both, speaking with the city manager as well as the mayor, and a number of the council members. Everyone seemed very supportive. They did approve this same resolution at their meeting on Monday, and so it's coming back to you. We did have a preliminary presentation that we did back at our April meeting. You will notice that this agreement, as it was approved on Monday by them and is before you today, has a couple areas in the appendices that are blank. Part of that is because they cannot be executed until the conclusion of closing. And so this, the most salient and critical details and substantive details of the agreement are listed in the document that you see. So you'll notice in the recommendation that based on the fact that our attorneys are recommending this language in the resolution, they're essentially saying that they're asking for the board to allow me permission to negotiate the final details that are what it's called substantially similar to the agreement that you're approving. So there's not going to be something that's way different, but you're essentially authorizing me the ability to close out the final negotiations with the city as they get their calculations and everything else with the engineers. I will also say that there are no money changing hands here. We're simply talking about how can we support each other. We're taking over the retention pond from them, and then also giving them some future expansion opportunities with the total amount. We are also then receiving the retention pond, which will give us an opportunity to do water retention at a significantly lower cost than it would be if we had to do the detention on our own property. So this saves our taxpayers money from our capital project funds, but there's no money changing hands with the city. This also allows us to have an easement to use Novi Way so that we can access the southern parts of our property, and we will be then rebuilding Novi Way Road with a specification that's strong enough to support bus traffic and things like that are gonna come down there. So I'm grateful for the partnership with the city. I know that every member on this board has expressed a desire and interest to work collaboratively with the city. I think they share that, and so it's been a wonderful opportunity. And so this agreement comes to you tonight, but the recommendation should include the language that's there in the recommendation.
Mr. Mena?
Yep. So I'll move that the board, in the best interest of the Novi Community School District, approve the City of Novi retention pond and easement agreement as presented and authorize the superintendent to negotiate any final details that are substantially similar and execute the PA as well as any extensions and all other documents necessary and incidentals to the purchase of the premises on behalf of the school district as allowable by law.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Mena, supported by Mr. Mishner. Any questions, comments?
No, I was just going to say, I had an opportunity to attend, actually, the first meeting that we had on this, and it was a great idea up front, and it's nice to see that it's finally coming to conclusion.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay. I would like to thank the city council as well as the mayor for their collaborative efforts on this, and of course, the city staff. Everyone worked really hard on this, and I'm very thankful that they've been so willing to work with us in the best interest of our community. And I know that they spoke about at their meeting, that it's really, you know, when we have our citizens paying taxes, it's in everyone's best interest that collectively we are being as fiscally responsible with the funding as possible, and saving a lot of money on where we keep our drainage water seems like a really great opportunity for that. Also, thank you to Mr. Manka for, and our team for coming up with a way to make this a really win-win thing, as they would say in our elementary schools. But I think that you guys have all done just a tremendous job in getting this done, and am so very thankful for the partnership that we have seen from the city. And I know if you guys didn't have a chance to watch their meeting, they expressed the same thing, that they're all very thankful for the partnership and cooperation that they're seeing from the school district these last few years as well. So it's a really great step and a great way to keep taxpayer dollars, you know, being used efficiently. So thank you, everyone, for that. And if that is it, Mr. Cook?
Couple questions. I see here it says no trees will be cut, existing trees will be cut, we'll have to cut for the bus turnouts.
Yep, so great question. So there will be trees that have to be cut related to, that are on this current school district property. The trees that we're referring to, and it was actually part of the original conversation that Mr. Mena was referencing, the city's concern was by Power Park, they have a row of trees that are right next to the softball fields there. And
on the other side.
Yeah, they were really adamant that they did not want those trees to be disturbed. So we are within, you know, essentially committed to keeping that road at where it is. We're not going to be moving it so far that we would have to cut down any of the trees there. So I think that's a really good clarifying point. That particular note was for the trees that are on the city side of the road.
Okay. And Mr. Dragoo's okay with this, because you know he's picking up another road to maintain and keep clean. I can see why the city said, yeah, because now they lose one road and they don't have to maintain it and they don't have to clean it, so.
Yeah,
Is Mr. Dragoo okay with this addition to his workload?
yeah, I think we had some conversations about that. One of the other things that has come up, and I know that trustee Kleibert had brought this up at a previous meeting, but what's the ongoing cost of maintaining the retention pond, and what's the ongoing work to maintain the detention pond? I think it's important to kind of highlight that the answer to that question is that it's a relatively deep pond. And so, by way of example, the ponds that are out by the middle school and Deerfield are much more shallow. And so they require higher degrees of maintenance and dredging every few years because they're shallower, they get more organic content that grow in them. The deeper ponds, this particular one, we did some research with several of the city staff who've been here for over 2 decades. And they said that they've never had to dredge the pond. It's always been able, so they've never actually had that expense. Now, in full disclosure, I think that could shift and change as it relates to, we're gonna be expanding that pond. And one of the things that we also talked about in capital projects, as you know, is we're looking to create ponds that are not just squares or circles. We're looking to create ponds that can create a community asset. So by making that pond expansion and making it more beautiful and maybe a walkable area, we are going to create a dynamic where we don't know what the potential upkeep at that point could be. And so we know that whether or not we do our own retention pond on our property, that's going to be an additional expense. Or if we expand this one, that's going to be an additional expense. But we know that using that existing pond in addition to what we would add creates a dynamic where we don't have to do underground. But I think that, yes, he's been involved in all of these conversations.
More concerned about the road.
Yeah, the road.
The road, because it says here that we will rebuild and maintain the road for buses and stuff. But there's also a parking lot back there.
Yeah, the parking lot is going to have to be rebuilt in that area because that'll be a turnaround for buses. So our bond funds are going to be a part of what goes towards making those adjustments and rebuilding that. You know, the point of having an additional drive to clear and all of those things, those are all things that we've had, you know, fairly extensive discussions about. So I can't sit here and say that he's clapping and excited about that, but
he's watching.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely something he's aware of and is factoring into the route.
But we're just maintaining the road. They're going to maintain the parking lot after it's rebuilt.
Yeah, but we are going to be responsible for rebuilding the parking lot because there's a pressure number that has to be achieved on the asphalt to be able to support a bus and those types of things. And so we'll have to meet that specification, which it currently doesn't.
Okay.
Any further questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay, passes 6-0. And then we will move on to the committee reports. We have the 528 Master Planning Committee of the Whole meeting. Mr. Cook?
There's not much more to say other than what we said earlier during the fill-in discussion, so.
Okay. Very good. Then we can move on to the June 1st Curriculum Committee of the Whole. Who chairs curriculum?
Oh, I think
Is that
that is
Danielle?
Dr. Ruskin.
Oh, okay. Well, Mr. Micah, would you want to give us a
Sure,
summary? Or
I
does
think,
somebody else want to?
you know, we had a curriculum committee of the whole. I actually would let Mr. Jeremini speak to
Brilliant.
the meeting if that works.
Sure, I'd be happy to. We had updates from our District DEI team members. They came and provided some updates, sort of summarizing the year in whole, activities at each of the buildings, accomplishments, and looking forward to the work for next year and the work that we will be doing as a committee. I provided an update regarding iReady and Curriculum Associates in the news and just shared some information about the two pieces of interest that are going on in the news and what our stance was on those. Talked about the K-12 math pilot, the small pilot that we're going to do next year as a single source pilot. And then discussed the high school course enrollment information. We looked at course enrollments over the years. We often have discussions about the course catalog and the inclusion or exclusion of courses from students' experiences and options. And so we talked about that a little bit, and I shared some data.
Thank you. Appreciate you doing that so quickly for us on the spot like that. Shows you really know your stuff.
Sensed it.
Oh, did you? You thought about that?
Yeah.
Good, good. I did not think about it because I was not aware of who chaired that. Okay, so then our next committee report is the June 15th Joint Capital Projects and Finance Committee of the Whole meeting. Mrs. Claybert?
Yeah, I'll cover the finance side. There isn't really anything else to add. We talked about the truth and taxation, our final budget for 25-26, which we just went over, and then our preliminary budget for 26-27. I think all parties gave feedback and commentary to Mrs. Scicluna, who captured that and made some edits and presented a revised version today.
Ms. Thorne, did you have anything to add to that?
Capital projects, basically what Kevin did, showed us some exteriors. It was more than Kevin, there was quite a large group of people, but he's pretty much covered it all. I don't want to bore you.
Okay, we appreciate that. All right, and then we will move on to the superintendent report. Mr. Micah?
Thank you so much. I want to let everybody know that it is officially, next week is kind of our dead week. So June 29th through Friday, July 3rd, the district will be closed. It's not to say that we won't have some staff working, but that is kind of our dead week across the district. We'll be back in, many of our staff will be back in the following week. After the agreement was passed this evening, we will have a final district calendar, which includes half-days and conferences. It's going to be coming out pretty shortly in the newsletter, so we'll have that information coming to parents. I also sent an informational email out that explained Parent Square, just so that, we've been talking about this for about a year now. We did a pilot at Deerfield. Parent Square is a communications platform. We're going to provide the board with more updates in the fall, but our parents are going to be able to register, and our goal here is to try and enhance our communication with parents, increase engagement, and make it easier for staff to be able to communicate with families. And so excited to get that launched. We had really great results from Deerfield this spring, and appreciate the team there in doing that pilot. We also have fall registration out there. We did streamline the process, so it's a little bit quicker. So I'm really grateful to Jackie Abraham and Zach Martinez and the whole group and the Power School team that has really made a really smooth fall registration process. I think that it's been said multiple times tonight, but the Oakland County Enhancement Millage is out there. Really encourage people to get engaged. One of the things that we hear a lot is, there's no plan for the money. There are plans that already exist for the money. There are plans in every single district that has plans for the money. This is simply trying to help backfill some of the challenges that we're seeing from the state, as well as provide us the opportunity to stay competitive with the other counties, quite frankly, that have county enhancement millages, including Wayne County to our neighboring south and east, as well as Macomb to the east and the north. So we would encourage people to get educated on that and make sure their voices are heard. I also want to let everybody know that we've had our Parent Community and Advisory Committee, which is a group that meets 4 times throughout the year. Sign up is ready and out for that. Which is exciting. And I am going to bring, it was requested that I bring some information about some of the feedback that I've received from student advisory groups, staff advisory groups, as well as our parent advisory groups. So I've got a presentation that I'll be doing at our July work session so that I can give the board an update on that. Just to kind of put it on your radar, we do have a work session in July that is typically slated around board self-assessment and just kind of talking about, the ongoing inner workings of the board. I will also be doing a strategic plan update at that time and sharing some additional information with you. Dr. Ruskin and I have had some preliminary conversations, but I know that I want to make sure you're all aware that'll be work session style, and we'll have some things that if you have specific things you'd like to discuss at that, please make sure you let Dr. Ruskin know, and we'll make sure we get that on the budget. Or get that on the agenda, sorry. The other thing that I want to say is that we do have a state budget update. It's not a substantial update, but we are being told that there's a framework in place. We have all sides working on it, and so again, they have a few days into next week before hopefully we see something before that July 1 deadline, before they break for summer recess. So we're holding on to our breath that they're going to actually deliver on that, and so we're encouraging them to do so, and we should have an update hopefully next week on whether or not they're able to get it across the finish line. So I'd like to also thank the board, the staff, everybody in the district for an incredible year. Thank you for all the work that you do with kids, for the staff, and for the board, just your ongoing support, guidance, and leadership. It's greatly appreciated, and hope you all have a wonderful summer as well.
Thank you. And then next up, we have the administrative reports. Do I have any volunteers, or do I have to select
Oh,
who?
I'll go.
Okay, Ms. Sakuna.
We have rotation, we can't mess it up.
Okay, I don't know the order.
Gotta stick to the routine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
I don't-
guys,
I don't
you
like
just
change.
do your thing.
I'd like to start off with great news to all interested parties that the electronic blinds have been installed and are fully functional in the robotics lab in the high school. I did take a picture and send it to them.
3 years, 3 years.
Yeah, I know. Also, so we recently had Yo and Yo out for the interim testing for the annual audit. They actually came in between the last board meeting and today. I'm happy to report that all of the testing wrapped up very quickly. There were no open items. Our finance team was very well prepared. Additionally, the fixed assets, which was an open item for last year's audit, the upload has been sent over to Wayne Risa. It's going to be imported into our ERP system. That will clear that recommendation from Yo and Yo for this year's audit, so we're checking boxes across the board. And then finally, as Ben just said, I would just like to wish everybody a safe and memorable summer.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
Me, thank you.
Very good then, thank you.
We are very excited, again, that the contract for the NEA was approved this evening, so I just want to really thank the NEA leadership team for collaboration and partnership throughout the entire process. It was truly remarkable for us to come together in a tough budget year, and I think develop a contract that will be really helpful for our staff. I would like to thank Dennis Heisman, our Supervisor of Safety and Security. He just recently completed our safety and security audits of each building. We will be bringing that information to the board later this summer or early fall for information about what the audits found and our next steps. We are very excited to bring on a new therapy dog at Novi Meadows, and so we will be doing that probably early fall. We are in the process of working with our dog trainer to find a suitable breeder and match a new puppy with our primary handler at Novi Meadows. I would like to thank Katie Booth, our Director of Employee Relations, because she has worked very hard on helping streamline our enrollment workflow. We wanted to make sure that we removed any pain points that kind of slowed things down during our enrollment process, and so hopefully parents will see expedited processing time for enrollments to the district, whether that is over the summer as a new student moving in or throughout the school year. So thank you to her for her leadership and the team that worked together to help streamline some of those processes. And Right at School transition is underway. We have an area manager that was hired by the Right at School team, who actually was a Novi employee who was moving out of one of her current positions because of the transition. And so we think that this will be a great liaison and partnership to facilitate this transition. And at this point in time, we have no waiting lists in any of our buildings. And so all of our families that wanted to register for Right at School after-school programming were able to do so. So we're very excited about that opportunity for our families. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Mr.
Is, just a quick follow-up, is that the first time we've ever not had a waiting list at any of our buildings?
I don't know that I can say ever, but in a long time is my understanding. So, yes.
Okay, Mr. Giamini then, we're ready for you?
Well, thanks.
Thanks for waiting so patiently.
It's my strength.
Very good at not doing anything.
Not doing anything, is that what you said? Twiddling my thumbs.
Uh-huh.
So as much as we are wrapping up the current school year, we are planning for next school year. Our team is actively working on fall professional learning for teachers and staff. Our ELA teachers and our math pilot teachers have begun the work of getting ready. I just got kicked. Of getting ready for their separate curriculum initiatives, and that work continues throughout the summer. The team will sneak some vacation in. Technology is actively preparing for device distribution and collection. Putting those carts in place in our K-4 classrooms so that the devices stay at school. Special education is working on extended school year services for students who qualify. There's lots going on, so everybody's working hard. And again, sneaking in some vacation when they can, and I wish everyone a very, very happy summer.
Thank you. Okay, so then next up, we have board communication.
Mrs. Bodway.
Oh, I'm sorry?
I just,
Can't lean
can
forward.
you clarify, Mr. Jimmy, did you say the K through 4 will have their devices staying in school for this upcoming school year? Yes. That's excellent. And when are we planning a similar transition for Meadows and middle school as well?
We have not predetermined the transition for Meadows and middle school. We want to look at, see how K4 goes, because at some point, the kids will take their devices home, right? Like, that's going to be part of the practice. And so trying to figure out what is the sweet spot about, developing that practice, teaching those skills. If they never go home, you never learn to develop those responsible skills. So it's on the radar.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Then we will move on to board communication. Mrs. Roney?
Well, I don't want to scare anybody, but we can become let's see, what kind of board is it? What was the name of it? Yeah, it's on the
She
back.
would like for us all to do more classes. That is what she's
Yeah.
trying to get at.
Standard of Excellence
It's getting
Award.
late, so.
Oh,
I would
wait,
support that.
Excellent. So we only have to get, what, 45? And I know Jason and Paul and Willie have probably already got them.
We all need to be a level 1 and 45 educational credits.
Fantastic.
So don't want to scare you guys, but summer's here. Got extra time.
That's not how summer works, but actually not a teacher.
Actually,
More daylight.
Jamie and I had a really nice time at the awards banquet. Lots of awards were given out. The big one was Mark Katz, who is now going on, he's been on Oakland Schools. He's not on the Oakland County Board anymore. That man has given 35 years of service to school board and still going. So
Amazing.
that will not be me.
Okay. Any other board communication? No? Oh, Mr.
Go
ahead. I don't have
Did you want to like rock, paper, scissors for it, or?
No, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I wanted to congratulate our new head football coach, Logan Pulaski. He will be our 6th football coach since Novi became a high school, so I'm really excited to see what he brings. But I also want to take this time to thank Jim Sparks, our previous coach, who coached about just short of 50 games here over the past few years. He gave a great deal to Novi football, but what I'll remember most is the person that he was. He was a dedicated coach, a steady leader, and a true friend on the field. He poured himself into the program, his staff, and his players, always working to help them compete, grow, and represent Novi the right way. His impact went far beyond wins and losses. He helped teach toughness, teamwork, accountability, and pride in wearing the Wildcat uniform. So Novi football will be better because of his leadership, and I'm grateful not only to what he gave to the game, but for his friendship and kindness he shared with me. So thought that was worth mentioning. He's off to do some other stuff now and to be with his family, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Mr. Pulaski brings to the program now.
Thank you, Mr. Mena. Any other board communication? Mr. Commissioner, did you? No? Okay. Then I think we're all set. Motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, thank you.
Support.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Commissioner, supported by Mrs. Roney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That's it.
Good job, Bets.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for the help.
Hi. I am.